Happy Saturday. Good evening. How's everybody doing today?
Excellent.
Doing well. Happy to be
Awesome.
here.
Good, doing pretty good.
Awesome. Thanks for everyone joining. Welcome to episode 6 of We Love the Prequels. I like that tone where we're doing everything by episode. So we're actually we can almost kill it after this because we don't have to go past episode 6. So,
what do you mean? There's nothing after episode 6. What are you talking about?
That's the Turnovsky Clone Wars. That's
good point. I don't want to leave those out.
Yeah, can't leave those out. Just want to say hello to Magnumnorse. Magnum, how you doing?
Good. Happy to be here. Working too hard lately, and I'm happy to talk about something that I like.
Awesome. Isaac, how you doing, bro?
Doing well. Good to see everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, and shout out to Mo for joining us tonight. Going to be a fun stream. So, hell yeah.
Awesome. Ronin, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Cole. Hello, everybody. Y'all know who I am. I'm Ronin the Crusader, and just like everybody else is saying, it's very nice to have the avocado lover MoZamboni with us here.
Cállate, puñeta.
Hey.
I know what that meant.
And Lex, how you doing, bro?
You know what? Of all the shows that are on YouTube tonight, how many of them are talking about things they love? Glad to be here. Also, shout out to Isaac for shooting out that gifted membership to Nishi. We love that. We love that here.
Shout out Nishi.
Very nice. You got Nishi.
Yeah. And last but not least,
anybody gets Tomark, I'm gonna hang you.
Last but not least, our special guest, MoZamboni. Mo, glad to have you.
Glad to be here. And there's a lot of people I haven't streamed with in a while here, which is pretty awesome too. So double goodness, double your pleasure, double your fun, double your figs on the bottom of the screen. So
triple.
Hey, wait a minute.
I don't know if what was like Lex, have we I know Magnumnorse and I know I've
streamed with him on my channel
with you
once.
and Erwin. I think so. Yeah. Like it's been a
we've
while,
interacted before. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, no, but it's been a while. I know it has been. But it's great to be here, and I enjoy the prequels, but I have my problems with it because I'm a man of an age that the prequels did not come out till I was an adult. I have my opinions, and they're well stated and well researched. So I'm not going to just they're enjoyable. All right, I have, and I'll show it to you later. I have the episode 1 on VHS that I had when I was in college. So look.
Oh,
they're enjoyable. But anyways, regardless, thank you for being here. Awesome to be here. The summer is going to be nuts. This month is going to be nuts for me. We're doing 2 meetups. We're going to be having lots of fun. So, and to prepare for this stream, I enjoyed some of the ketchup potato chips that Cole Hazard got me. So I'm in an extra good mood right now.
No problem. How many bags do you have left?
Oh, dude, come on. We're not young, man. I can't eat those all the time. I have like a little bowl that I put them in so I can enjoy just a little bit because they're pretty strong. They're very tangy. But yes, I do enjoy some of that Canadian cuisine from time to time.
Awesome.
But 2.5 bags.
Throwing up a little bit in my mouth.
What is this?
Everyone in the chat, welcome. Glad you're all here. I see a lot of great people here. Just want to point out. You can see the 221B tactical bag that Jay is promoting. You get 15% off. You get a free patch. Use the discount code Rebellion. It's a great bag. I got one. It holds a lot of stuff. I mean, this thing is fantastic. So, Mo, do you have one as well?
I am getting one, which is great timing because my bag that I have traveled with to some of the meetups and some of the vacations I've taken recently has exploded out of the side because of all the stuff I bring. So I need a new bag. So I'm looking forward to getting this. Honestly, I need one because I travel pretty heavy. So
yeah, this is a good one. I think this is the best backpack I've ever owned. So
I've seen.
I need to pick up a more sturdy range bag, something that's not all flopping around when you got heavy metal you're toting to the range and stuff. So
this will do.
Looks perfect for it. Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Let me just get a couple of these chats. Isaac, thanks for the gifted Aram membership. And Nishi, gifted one ARA membership as well.
Hey, you love to see.
Awesome.
Yeah. So as we started this chat, this podcast, so we're on episode 6. So it's not just talking about We Love the Prequels, but because the prequels do get some hate, and that all changed when the sequels came out. So that love came back, and of course you know why. As I keep saying, that Canto bite scene, this gives me nightmares. Like anytime I think about it, I don't know what they were thinking for that movie. But Mo is here because big Star Wars fan, and we want to get his perspective because we've been having guests. We had Ryan on, that was fantastic. Because he talked about Ryan is just an encyclopedia. It's just it's crazy. It's funny because I got into a bit of a debate with someone last night on FNT in the chat because Ryan was doing his spiel as always when it comes to Star Wars, and I put out there, nobody knows Star Wars more than Ryan. And of course, somebody came out, said, well, Star Wars Theory knows more. And I said, listen, no disrespect to Star Wars Theory. I like Star Wars Theory. It's just when it comes to talking about Star Wars and the EU and everything, Ryan has it patted down. So, but he just kept on coming back. And I was just like, you know what?
To be fair, even Theory himself has said that Ryan probably knows a lot more. He's read all the books. When they podcast, he's like, Ryan is an encyclopedia. Theory's admitted this.
Highlight of the show with Ryan was me pointing out something that he didn't remember correctly, because he remembers everything so well. Like, I don't know. Talking to him about Star Wars is like talking to, I don't know, me about Lord of the Rings, I guess. It's just like the sense of like the level of knowledge is so inspiring. I find that cool, honestly.
Yeah, we talked about like the basis of the midi-chlorians, and like we go all over with this stream. So, but anyway,
right on. Yeah, no, I would Ryan's definitely Ryan and Angry Badger. I'd love to see them duke it out, have like a Jeopardy, and just watch whoever's Alex Trebek just die on the stand from like because of the dead heat for like 3 straight days with no rest. Like seriously, there's some amazing minds out there, but yeah, him and Angry Badger are just like.
Yeah, and Badger
between them, we could rebuild the Galactic Empire.
What's so cool though is he's like the same way with like Harry Potter too, by the way. So it's just like that guy is
and Game of
incarnate.
Thrones and Lord of the Rings, and autism must flow. Yeah,
Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones might have something on that.
Yeah, and me and Ryan, we're going to be doing a 24 because he loves 24 as well, and we're going to be doing a podcast on that. So because he knows a lot about 24 as well. Let me just pull this up quick. Lex gifted 10 raw memberships. Lex, thank you. Awesome.
Well, you still miss Tomac though.
Can't catch him by the toe.
He's a quick one.
He is a wild one.
One day.
So Mo, where to start? Why do you dislike the prequels? I'm just gonna throw that right out there.
Why do I dislike the prequels? Well, I saw that I was called prequel hater, and I do like I do love avocados, so I can't deny that. But I have one in the background right now. But anyways, no. As far as
I'm just kidding though.
No. You have to understand. I know a lot of you were children, and I mean, like, I'm not making fun of anybody, and even if you weren't, a lot of you were children. I love one of my favorite movies of all time is Return of the Jedi. It's not the best movie in there, but it came out when I was alive. So when I was a kid, it started hitting HBO in like 85 and stuff like that. So like I loved it. I loved it. Even the Ewoks. I don't like the Ewoks so much anymore, but it was enjoyable. So I understand if you like something that isn't exactly perfect, and there is definitely some great things about the prequels, but here's the problem. The way they were built up and the way that what we were thinking we were going to be getting in 1999 is I saw that, by the way. Screw you, AP. But and that's just generally all the time. But
Yes.
it was never, the hype was it's literally one of the most hyped movies of all time, and people just don't understand that. And it was never, unless it was going to be absolutely perfect, it was never going to meet the expectations of the people like me. I was 19 when that came out, or 18 or 19. It was never going to meet the expectations. I was waiting for it. I saw all the re-releases in the theaters. I would do research about stuff. I didn't read the EU books, but I was aware of them and I knew about the lore and stuff like that. So I was like real deep into that stuff. I loved playing the games, video games and stuff like that. So I was ready.
Yeah, it took me many years to finally appreciate them, because when I was younger, I watched the original trilogy so many times and loved them so much, and they were so perfect to me. And then these ones came out, and it was like any imperfection that I found was like, it was like, no, this is not good, you know. And it reminds me of the Hobbit trilogy compared to Lord of the Rings in a way, because they kind of relied on too much CGI, and the acting wasn't as good, and blah blah blah. But the more I got older and watched them more and more, the more I learned to appreciate them for what they are. But
yeah, no, but but the thing is it does have issues. It has a lot. The prequels have lots of issues, of issues, and it is. And people are gonna dislike me for saying this. It's because there's shortcomings from George Lucas's storytelling that is present in all of the movies that we overlook if the story is good. But he has lots of problems, and well, I guess we'll get into it. But I don't want to. I guess we'll just jump into it.
I just watched
George Lucas.
Pretty bad.
I agree with you on that move too.
Like the acting was really
George
bad.
Lucas. Yeah, well, I mean, he was never a great director. He's just like, do it faster, or do it, he's like faster and more intense. But which is what he's famous for. He did not know how to accurately describe to other people what he was thinking.
Well, I mean,
But what the problem was is George Lucas has a really, really, really bad way to basically make you feel the passage of time and the breadth of space, because everything seems like it's right next door to each other. And that's the problem that he has with all of his storytelling. Because if you really think about it, that things seem a lot like things for the story's sake are very far away to seem mysterious, but when they play in the story, they're right next to each other. Bespin and Dagobah are right next to each other, in the story of Empire Strikes Back. But it's such a great story, and it's so well told, and it has so much importance, and it teaches you so much about life, and it's so compelling that you overlook that. But when he does that in the prequels, it's exposed because the story doesn't allow you to look past those shortcomings. And that's my problem with the prequels, is that the quality of the storytelling and the quality of the character work is not present in the prequels as much as they are in the original trilogy. Now, I'm going to throw this one out here. I love Revenge of the Sith. I'm sorry. There are some really bad parts in it. But Ian McDermott, I'll watch clips of him being evil, eating the scenery from here until the end of time, because he's freaking amazing. All right. Yeah. He is a wonderful villain, and he's an awesome, somehow he's an even better Palpatine, the Return of the Jedi. He's 10 times better. He's so freaking evil
and I think vicious. The end scene.
He seems like somebody that has the thirst and the hunger to take over the universe, and that's why I love that movie.
He emanates pure evil.
I think.
He really does.
That scene. I think of that scene where it's like, use my knowledge, to have the power to save Padme from certain death. And like the look on his face when he has that scene is just like pure evil. Yeah, you're totally right.
And Mo, I agree with everything you said there, because I love Revenge of the Sith, but Empire Strikes Back is still my number one, where Revenge of the Sith is number two, because the way they hashed out Empire Strikes Back, that couldn't be replicated. And listen, I'll say this till I die, Revenge of the Sith, the opening scene is the best Star Wars opening you will ever get. I don't think anything can replicate that. But I agree with you. They fast paced a lot in the prequels, where in New Hope and Empire, you got a lot more out of the characters. I'm not a big fan of Return of the Jedi. It's like Gary says, it's like a 50-50 movie, 50% good, the other 50 bad, because that's Return of the Jedi is basically number 6 on my list, where Phantom Menace is like above. So, but I agree with everything you're saying there.
Yeah, and when you're talking about that, I was just thinking about the opening because I saw it in the theater when it came out. Which, by the way, the AC was busted in that theater, and it was hot as hell in Indiana that year. Yeah, and obviously, a lot of smelly people in there, but it doesn't matter. But it was still amazing, and I couldn't wait. I was at the midnight showing, which back then, and Cole Hauser knows, and I joked about this a lot. No assigned seating, so you waited in line. And if you had a physical advantage, you were getting better seats because you were pushing past everybody. And I got some okay seats, but it was great. And when that opening started and you see like the fights and stuff and you see the starfighters flying around and it opens up to the full battlefield, literally everybody in the audience went, whoa, whoa. You could hear the audience be amazed in a way that wasn't like, it was hard to get those hits, especially in the 2000s. But when that opened up and you heard the audio open up and you heard the entire battle and you saw the entire battle, you don't understand how awesome that was when it came out. And it was really cool. And that whole opening was very good. And it was like, after watching the first 2 prequels, this was like, okay, we're getting into OT level of quality of fighting. And it even had the music from the original Star Wars in there, which we had been begging for. John Williams does no wrong, but I really wanted some more hard-hitting original Star Wars music in it, and we got a little hint of it during the opening scene. But no, it was great. But and it's one of the better movies. And what X-Wing said as far as like the acting, actually, some of Hayden Christensen's better acting, some of his best acting. My favorite part is after he gets back from slaughtering the Sand People, and he goes, "I hate them." He literally took all of them out. He got the men and the women and the children too. Yep. And he wanted more. Like they were all gone. They were all kind of
like me talking about. It's like me talking about immigration and stuff. I just love it. I resonate with it so much. I think that really portrayed the Darth Vader, the side of Darth Vader, the dark side really creeping in. Well, I understand the criticisms of his acting. I definitely understand.
It got better.
I think that scene in episode 2 really peak in my opinion. So
yeah, that when he's on Tatooine, that is a man that has an insatiable thirst for destruction, and you see a little bit of Darth Vader there more than you see in anything else. And that's the thing with episode 3 is they try to push you like, oh, he hates the Jedi and stuff like that, but they don't accurately bring you along. They don't make you feel that. I know they say that in the novelization that they do a better job of it, and you can understand what he's thinking, I guess, but it goes too fast. And that's, once again, passage of time. George Lucas has a bad problem with that in a lot of the movies.
Yeah, like, and actually,
he doesn't sell it hard. It doesn't sell it well enough for you to be fully invested in that turn. You're just like,
that's where the 2D Clone Wars, the Tartakovsky really bridges the gap well, because it shows where did he get that scar on his face in episode 3. Well, the 2D Clone Wars shows you Ventress, and
where did Grievous get his
cough? Grievous cough,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't even want to blame like
curricular material. The games really adds a lot of context to that.
A lot of it had to do with directing, in my opinion. Like I was just watching episode 2, and I felt like if the director knew better what was going on, he would have not have accepted this clip of Hayden Christensen messing up here.
Well, again, that like the prequels were all solely George, and like for as much and as well as he was trying to do, sometimes he just can't write dialogue all that well. Like especially of course in what is it, Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Padme are talking to each other in the middle of the night. Like it is a bit of a cringe, exchange of dialogue between the two of them. It kind of is. Now, Mo, I know you're going to find it a lot worse than I would. I'm just saying it's like they can't really write dialogue all that well, but for
great actors,
for all of his efforts, at least. No, that's what I mean. For all of the efforts, like I think Hayden Christensen's a really good actor. So I think that for the material he was given, he tried to make the best of it.
Well, the director didn't take the right chop. The director didn't take the right chops, in my opinion. Like the director chose the wrong takes.
Well, this is why I was trying to bring this up before, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mo, but this is kind of why when he was doing the original trilogy, he had different directors making the films, and he was getting, more or less advice from them, and then they were kind of trying to figure out a good way of like what's the word I'm looking for, translating Lucas's vision in a way that's going to fit well for audiences, I guess you could say.
That's a great way to put that, by the way. I saw that comment. Fluorescent light does show all of your flaws, but no, but you just underlined the main problem with the prequels, and part of the problem with Return of the Jedi is he had too many yes men around him. He had nobody that fought back.
Right.
And the ones that did, we saw in the commentary and the behind the scenes footage for the prequels. If you watched it on your Blu-rays and stuff like that, or other venues. He would just lay into people that he didn't like the ideas about, instead of like saying there might be something here, or yeah, okay. He wouldn't just shrug it off. He wanted everything, and no like he didn't want to meet halfway. He just wanted what was in his brain, and that's a problem, because any creativity needs to be metered. It needs to have at least a few different points of view set on it, so that you can make sure that it stands up to muster, which is why episode 4 and 5 are so freaking good, because you had a bunch of people in the room saying, yeah, I think it could be a little better. And you had his wife at the time who did a great job of editing, and it could have been a little better, but in the prequels, they were so excited. People wanted to be on his team that they just were saying, yes, yes, yes. Oh, Dave Filoni's like, yes, yes, yes.
So he had total control and nobody was checking him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the problem. And you can tell in the movie, it's just it's a brain dump. That's what all three of those movies are, for better or worse.
Yeah, and you think about this, and I'm just going to jump off to Star Wars. If you go back to Star Trek: The Motion Picture, a lot of people around Gene Roddenberry were upset. So when it came to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, he was basically like, he had no say, because Paramount was just basically, you know what, I want this movie to succeed, and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan did. And when it came down to the battle between Empire and Star Trek II, I have to go with Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan is
yeah, because of the way they basically told Gene Roddenberry, yes, we know you created Star Trek, but we need this movie to succeed because the motion picture didn't. And that's what happened. So then you look at Empire, you had Irwin Kershner basically directing it. And from the get-go, from beginning to end, that movie was it was tops. It was just tops for any type of movie making. Sci-fi, I don't, besides Star Trek, but Wrath of Khan, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
nothing touches it.
And it is one of the best examples of subverting expectations. Something that they try to do nowadays. The first one was ending with the ceremony, and there's so much victory, and there's so much wonderful feelings.
The Empire
at the end of Empire
celebration,
an Empire, like what? Like and it's just like, but it's like so like your adrenaline's running from all it's rushing through your body from all of the stuff that you just found out, and all of the things all of the action that happened at the end of that movie, and all of the character arcs that kind of came to a close there, and what happened to Han Solo and things like that. It was just like, whoa. And then at the end, they're like, boy, we still got a big battle to fight. You're just like, and we don't have Han Solo. He's gone. And you're just like, I should be happy. But it's such the best version of like, you're like, I cannot. In
so good.
3 years, or A, it was 3 years to see the next movie. B, unless it was shown on HBO or you caught it on network television. And by the way, if you owned a VCR in the early 80s, you were rich. You couldn't tape it. And, you may be able to buy a VHS tape. It was not cheap. So that was like, you left the theater, and it came out before I was born, but I'm just saying, I remember that era. of like when you got that kind of hit at the end of a movie, it was like fever pitch, and all people could do was talk about it. They couldn't break it down with showing videos all the time. They couldn't join their friends in streaming. They would just talk about it, playing like D&D or hanging out, having, you know, beers and cigarettes and talking about how great America is.
Or
you know,
going to
The
school.
biggest meme of all time was Luke, I am your father, for like decades.
Yeah.
After
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just want to say too,
Yeah.
that's
No,
one thing
I am your father.
That's one
Right.
thing I agree with Cole Hauser on. A near perfect movie, except I would have liked more ground battles on Hoth. Totally
Yes.
agree. Cole
Oh,
Hauser,
yeah.
you pointed that out.
An
That's something that's
extra-
always been stuck in my head, but you
Yeah.
explained it where
Yeah.
I think that would have been perfect. A little
Yeah.
bit more.
An extra 20 minutes where
Well,
they were in
not
Hoth
even,
with
because
battle.
I and this is just me, because that battle is 10 minutes. I would have gave it at least half an hour. Because
Yes.
I would have liked to see, and this is why I love Star Wars Battlefront so much, the OG, because I would have
Yes.
liked to have seen more of the stormtrooper ground troops going head to head, like
Yeah.
being there in the trench, basically being in the trenches, going alongside the AT-ATs and the AT-STs. That would have been a phenomenal battle scene that we never got.
Man,
and
imagine if we got like a Battle of Helm's Deep level version of the Battle of Hoth. Like that would be peak TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period.
Just a little
That's
bit
it.
more background story on this, on like the planet would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Which
that
we
would
do
be
get
cool.
that in the game with Dash Rendar, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the
Oh,
Empire.
Shadows of the
yes.
Empire.
You do get
That's
some
not
background.
favorite.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my biggest complaint about the entire Star Wars universe is I have no idea what these planets were doing or have any business talking to each other about, or you know,
They were just, it was window dressing,
pretty much.
just essentially.
It's
Yeah.
like a
Battle of the Bulge.
cinematography excuse or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So going like we can start off with the Phantom Menace. We can start going from, we can do some comparison or whatever. But Mo, what was your, because I, like me, when I saw the OT in theater because I was a kid, and then hearing now that Phantom Menace is coming out, I'm like, okay, we got a new Star Wars after so long. And the peak interest, because and we talked about this on Jay's channel on the Midday Mixer with Jay, Mo, and Wicked, how you had so much merchandise, cups, restaurants, everybody was doing it. And then it was me going to see the movie with my buddy at 4:00 in the morning. We're watching this thing, we're just hype, we're it's fantastic. So go on your journey of that.
Oh, well, it was this, whatever you think of the movie, the marketing campaign behind that is unmatched on anything you'll ever see for the rest of your life, because they knew no matter how much it would have been divisive or something like that, people were waiting for this. They were begging for it because the kids were coming of age that grew up in the 80s and the late 70s. They were ready. They were ready to spend money on this. They're ready to watch it. What's up, sir? But it was unbelievable, the push that they had for this. So whatever kind of hype was going into it, just hearing that the prequels were coming out, now they're coming out and they're marketing their rear end off for it. It's like things are coming out, the soundtrack's coming out. I can't remember I'm sure it was McDonald's. McDonald's, if you have a popular franchise, is good, which is why Star Wars is partnering with Burger King right now because they stink.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
To be fair, they did for
On
Revenge
that
of the
score
Sith.
Hey
now.
man, I like me
To
a
be
Whopper, bro.
Oh yeah, no, a Western Whopper, get in here. Western barbecue Whopper is one of the best ones. But
Chicken
I
fries.
digress. Please. But Burger King toys suck. I think we can all agree on that. It was just like, it was fever pitch. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it got everybody frothing at them out there. Like, oh man, people still had a lot of happy memories about Return of the Jedi. The end of Return of the Jedi was good. There was a lot of other parts that were kind of Yeah, we had the Yub Nub fixed in the re-releases.
Bro,
So
I love
Biggest
Yub
complaint
Nub.
was-
Yub Nub nationalism.
biggest complaint that I remember was Jar Jar Binks. Like, some people loved him and some people just could not stand Jar Jar Binks, man.
It didn't
he
bother
sucks.
me.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Yes.
That's true, but that doesn't mean he's not entertaining at the very least. And look, I'll say this: when I was growing up watching Jar Jar Binks, yeah, he was kind of a weaker point in the film. I will actually be honest on that aspect.
But how old were you, man? How old were you? Like I was 15 years
like
old.
the first time I can remember. Let's see, because I was 9 years old when Revenge of the Sith came out, right? Okay, so I must have
you
been
were
at
3 years old when.
Hey,
Don't
I
roll
wasn't
me,
born-
Mo. Okay, you already told us that we were young, so I
Phantom
always accept
Menace.
that.
Isaac, we know
I
he didn't
was-
exist.
Don't need a reminder,
maybe-
but I appreciate it.
So
I
the
was
age
maybe
difference matters when
around
you're looking at
6
Jar Jar Binks. Is all I'm
I was
saying.
maybe around 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah.
the
No,
first
no,
time
I- yeah, I
watched,
It does, though, actually,
Phantom
because
Menace.
when I was a kid, I didn't mind Jar Jar Binks. And then when I was like a teenager and in my 20s, I thought, wow, this is the worst character ever. And then after that, I thought, you know what? I frankly just don't care anymore.
Well, okay, fine. Lex, let me ask you this then. Is that more like what's the word I'm looking for? The cynicism of adulthood that's making you think that? Because I'm about to be 30 this month, and I still kind of enjoyed Jar Jar at the very least. I'm just saying.
I agree with Ronan. I agree.
No,
fine.
I
There
think-
might
I learned
be.
to live with them. I learned to live with them.
I'm just saying there
Honest-
might be that layer of like nostalgia that's preventing me, sure, but even so, I still get some entertainment value out of it, despite seeing what like the criticisms and like the issues can be. I'm just
I thought
saying.
that character was annoying as a kid, but I didn't really care. And then as I got older, I was like, man, I really hate this character. And now as I've gotten even older, I just don't care anymore. Like, it's like, whatever. You know what?
Pretty
And
much, yeah.
honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably because I went and saw the sequels and I was like, you know what? Everything I used to think was bad is actually good, period. And that's all I'm going to say about
Can
that.
I just make one
Go
point
ahead.
on Jar Jar? I don't mind the character. I like Jar Jar. I think his writing dialogue should have been toned down a lot, too over the top. I think we can all agree, though, that Ahmed Best, the actor, did not deserve the hate. I think he did pour his heart and soul into that role. I think he did a good job with what he was given. Yes, the character should have been toned down a lot, in my opinion. But, I mean, the hate that they gave that actor over the character was insane.
Of course,
Yeah.
no.
So if I can just
we
throw
do
in,
not want to hate the actor for the character they play.
In most
ever.
cases. In most cases.
yeah, let me just throw in quickly because for me it was like this. Was Jar Jar a big impact on the movie in his timing in the time he was given? I don't think so because when we had the pod racing, we had the Duel of Fates, we had the lightsaber fights. I think all that stuff that we got kind of overshadowed the Jar Jar scene, so that's why it didn't really bother me.
Yeah, the movie was already too childish in a way. It wasn't necessarily Jar Jar Binks' fault that it was a childish movie, in my opinion.
So okay, this is where you actually have something that you can compare against episode 1, which is this came out in the early 2000s, very early 2000s. It's called the Phantom Edit, which shows that you could have done a much better job if you cut 30 minutes off the movie.
I've never
and
seen
made the
that.
pacing better.
Nice.
I still have the file that I downloaded in college. I'm sure it doesn't look that good.
Nice.
They have better ones, but or maybe it was like it was mid 2000s. It was like after Revenge of the Sith came out, but it shows like, and it's not just the Jar Jar. They get remove as much as Jar Jar as they can, which is like, thank you. You know, Lisa, what did you want to thinking we say in trouble? All right,
Misa, we thought.
It's like it's like the Hobbit edit where they cut it down to just what the book said.
Hail Drunk
It sounds
3PO.
like the same thing.
Attack of the Clones is goated, Jay. That's right.
Okay.
Jay.
Anyways, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see that, but I'm just saying, like, if you watch the Phantom Edit, which I should probably show in my Discord, in the GCA Discord, because I have it. Once you see it, and because they cut the music in there, they cut out a lot of the filler, which George had a lot of filler in the Phantom Menace. Once you see it done with a better edit, it is like night and day. So he had a lot of good stuff.
They don't cut out any Darth Maul.
I
They
still
leave
love
all
the
that
movie.
there, I hope.
No, of course
There's
not. I
so
don't think
little
so.
of Darth
No.
Maul to cut out. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
that's what I'm gonna say.
What's the overall impression? Because like I said, I wasn't born until a year after episode 1 came out. What's the overall impression of Watto? Where did he Where did he
Watto?
affect
Oh, boy.
people?
I
Other
don't
than
think
the
he was
fact that the pod
significant.
racers were promised to him 3,000 years ago. But other than that, like, how was his
Here we
character
go. Here we go. Yep.
initially impressed upon? Did people like
Well,
him or hate him?
he wasn't screaming Misa in my ear the whole time, so I don't know who Watto is.
Yeah. And he was
Public credits. They're no good here.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
a slime
Misa
ball.
Watto.
Yeah, and I know they're like, I know what he's like in regards to. It's like, look, George Lucas is from the tribe, so chill. You know, he knew what he was doing. You know, I was like, you know, yeah, Watto was good. He was evil in a greedy way. He wasn't like, you know, it made sense. It just seemed like, yeah, well, yeah. So I'm saying, like, he wasn't like Palpatine. He was evil in his own way. And it was believable, and it made
He had no
you know
greater goal.
you wanted Anakin to be free. You want Anakin and his mom to be free of Watto. So he served his purpose in the story quite well. I didn't think he didn't overstay his welcome. He wasn't garbage. I thought he was really good. You know, he was a good character, honestly, especially compared to Jar Jar Binks. But yeah, no. As far as the Phantom Menace, like I said, it was just he had a little middling story that he just put a lot of filler in. Like I said, if you watch the Phantom Edit, you see that is the case. Once you cut it down and you get rid of all the Jar Jar, and you get rid of all of the meandering and talking about stuff and being in the Senate forever, and it's just like once you get the pacing fixed, it's a great movie. Seriously.
Well, there's like you know, comic relief that's overdone, and I feel like that's what's happening here. Like, because the seriousness with Darth Maul, what's happening with him. And then you flip over to the Misa stuff, and I just like, wow, this is really taking me out of this. Like,
because it was extended, you know,
it's just too much, too extreme.
He gets zapped by the freaking pod racer couplings, and he's going, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we got it. You know who did that better? It was Bill Cosby. You know, it was one of his bits, and it wasn't like nearly as long. And they're like, he's just like smelling farts from the space camel, and it's just like, oh, enough of this guy, enough.
Misa give you a roofie.
But like I said, for me, and this is me, I didn't think he was significant enough to be a problem because everything else, what we got, I looked at it overshadowed Jar Jar, so I really didn't even care.
Well, you know what it's like?
That's me.
See, I disagree with that. You know what it is? Have you ever been in an Uber or a taxi where the driver rides the brakes really hard?
Yeah.
That's Jar Jar. You're like trying to enjoy the scenery. Like, oh, I'm in downtown Chicago. This looks really nice. Like, you're like, geez. It's like every time Jar Jar comes in, they pull the brakes and it takes you out of it. You're just like, shut up. Like, yeah.
Ghost Dad. Listen, Ghost Dad was funny. Ghost Dad was a funny movie. I will admit,
it's telling. I think it's telling that when you look at episode 2 and episode 3, all of a sudden Jar Jar's like gone. He's there, like you see him and he talks, but like they reduced his
he's
character.
The one that proposed giving Palpatine emergency powers.
He is.
You know, if not for him,
like he still had a significant role. You are correct, but all things considered, even considering that he did that, he talks very little in that film. And then in the third one, Revenge of the Sith, basically, I think his only line is literally the words "excuse me." So,
excuse me. Yes,
whatever. I think it's telling. I think there was a hint that was given and a hint that was taken when they made that film.
So, okay, this point right here, and I'm not trying to out anybody or like attack anybody, but if we're gonna say, why do I need to read a comic book for this movie? Why do I need to do this for this movie? Why do
the homework?
There should be, even though the homework might be amazing, and I heard it very much is. I'm not denigrating it. We're talking about this without homework, so I got to grade it without homework. You can say, "Oh, the book fails it." We attack other, creators nowadays because they're relying on that because they can't write a story. Right. Well, because the EU lifted up the story, made it even better, which I agree. But you have to look at the movies as the set of 6 movies on their own and how they interplay with each other and how the storytelling goes in the movies, because I'm talking about the cinematic experience. I don't want to, I knew about some of the underlying stories behind the movies before I went into some of these movies. That helps to understand that. And you can't unlearn that before you go into a movie. But the movie needs to stand on its own and exist on its own. And when I review movies, it's like
I'll agree with Jay. I would just say the Plagueis novel, which I've listened to in audiobook form, it really enhances the story of the prequels. And
but here's the thing:
I didn't see it. I didn't know about the Plagueis novel till after I had seen the prequels.
But here's the
I understood the prequels still, but explaining the whole Anakin birth thing and how it was a response from the Force, all that stuff, not to spoil it. But I think you also have a fair point too, Mo. Like we're saying, to go see a Marvel movie at the theaters, you should not have to see 13 Disney Plus shows to know what the heck is going on.
And this is the biggest one. We're gonna skip. I want to skip ahead to Revenge of the Sith real quick, then go back to whatever we were talking about. Here's the problem: the turn of Darth Vader in Episode 3 is crap. It just is. He just all of a sudden he's like, oh man, like he does something wrong. Okay, he paints himself in a corner. He basically ends Mace Windu.
What have
gives
I
rise
done?
to Palpatine. But it's also like he's not lost at that point. He could just kind of zot freaking Palpatine's head right off the top of his body. You know what I mean? Like he's like he could.
No,
like,
but
it was
Mo,
like it
he's
seemed
very overly emotional in that one moment. Like in that one moment, yes, he made an action that is irreversible, but is one that was a quick heat of the moment thing. Right now, the main focus for him is figuring out how he's going to save Padme, and he's desperate to do anything to try and keep Padme safe, even as desperate as basically killing a Jedi Knight. So I get.
Are you telling me seeing Padme in Episode 2, you would not have also committed genocide to save her? I mean, I would have. And I agree with Spider in the chat too.
Kind of young for me, man.
In Minecraft.
No, it was. I'm gonna stand on my ground here. The turn of Vader is. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say it's shit in Episode 3. It doesn't. You don't buy it by the time it gets there. It is because he goes from like this well-meaning guy. He's like, oh, Obi-Wan, I'll see you later, my good friend. He's all well-meaning, and he's the Anakin that we all.
Yeah, it was like Daenerys Targaryen.
We all loved. It literally within like 30 minutes, he's like Vader, and he's ending younglings.
And this is just within the context of Revenge of the Sith, correct? Because you were talking earlier before about how you want to see these films and like try and review them and analyze them on their own, not just as like a package deal, or is it as a package deal? Like, is that how you're looking at it? Because if we were to look at it as a package deal, you do have to remember Attack of the Clones. You're seeing those bits and pieces of Darth Vader already showing. Yes, they hide again once he's a good, fellow with Obi-Wan, but it's still there.
But here's the problem. They show it in the middle of Episode 2. They should have shown the long descent into madness and darkness from that point, and they just back off it for the rest of Episode 2 and the beginning of Episode 3, and then you're supposed to pick it back up and believe it. It's like you don't believe it because
his execution of Count Dooku.
That's in there. Yeah.
It's true.
It is, but it's also like, man, I shouldn't have done that. But he's still got a lot of what makes him Anakin there.
So I'm gonna side with Mo on this a bit because I think we could have got a lot more. And this is why I was saying last time, Attack of the Clones should have been split into like 2 movies. And I get it. It's because yes, it did progress a little fast. I'm not denying that, but I think if we got more of Anakin's at least getting a little older from where he was in Revenge of the Sith, I think if he say he was like at least in his 30s or so when seeing him turn more. So I'm going to side with Mo on that one.
It was a missed opportunity. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm not saying I don't believe it, but it was really like in the theater. It was like, oh, geez, like we're Vader now. Like
Palpatine had more time to groom him and make more sense, right?
Vader.
Okay, fair enough. It does come off that very fast because
it's fast
in the background. Fast. That Palpatine has been talking to him since he was literally a kid, and like been raising him almost as like a foster father figure. You know that if you've read the lore and stuff, but if you just watch the films, no, all that does come off really quick. And I don't know, the third film, his anxiety and his willingness to turn, I still find it believable, but I would say it would have been really good if we had gotten more scenes.
That's what I'm saying.
The reason I think it might be slightly
undermining.
believable is like if Palpatine was able to like use the Force like kind of on his brain, kind of like melding him, like when he's really talking to him, like now it's time for you to turn or something like that.
That's what makes Palpatine so interesting is that he doesn't need to use the Force to do that. He can just talk to him, and because what he was feeding the whole time was just like, oh, the Jedi don't trust you. Oh, you're so powerful, but the Jedi won't let you arise to your station. Oh, like
Palpatine was.
I wish we had seen more of that.
Feelings.
Yeah, I understand that he killed Jay. I understand that he ended the children's in episode 2. I understand that, but they missed that opportunity. They let it sit there, and then they walked away from it completely. Like it should have been like, yeah, we understood that, and he sold it. And Hayden's acting in that was, you're like, dude, you just ended an entire tribe.
Then you just turn around and
you wanted more. It wasn't enough to satiate your thirst.
There's no lingering sentiment, is what you're describing. Like it happened there in Tatooine, and then it just kind of got pushed to the sideline because Obi-Wan was trapped in Geonosis. You wanted there to be that lingering sentiment, kind of like just pestering at him throughout the film and throughout Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it's kind of like a thing that happened and there was no aftermath.
Yeah, like, and that's my whole complaint. It's not that I didn't. It is jarring and it takes you out of it because once you see movies that do it much better, it's a problem.
But I have to fight back real quick.
Oh yeah, I just mentioned that.
No, it's just like it's.
Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand People, but they throw that out there, and then it's just like, and that was it.
There is the entire premise of Attack of the Clones. He is resisting the dark side. He is fighting his master the entire time. He disobeys Obi-Wan like half a dozen times. He went to save him when Obi-Wan said, no, protect Padme. He said, no, we're going to leave Tatooine and go to Geonosis. Disobeyed his master. And then even in the troop transport, when they're chasing Count Dooku, Padme fell out. He said, we got to land that craft now.
Goodness.
We got to save
Don't even talk about that scene.
I know. No, but I'll say, no, forget about the dialogue, whatever you say.
No, it wasn't a dialogue. It was the physics.
That's yes.
Getting yeeted out of a spaceship at 100 miles an hour, hitting a sand dune.
That's him challenging authority. That's him giving into his feelings. And Obi-Wan did reel him back in and say, "What would Padme do?" And that grounded him.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
All throughout the movie, he's resisting his Jedi training, his master, giving into his feelings. They are laying the groundwork for his turn, in my opinion. So
but here's the thing: this is a reflection upon watching the movie. I'm just talking about watching the movie, trying to understand it as it happens when you watch it for the first time. You can rewatch it, and you'll pick up on those notes, and you'll think about it, and you'll stew about it, and you'll talk about it. But when you're in the moment, you get these like. Things are like, oh, George is cooking right now, and then he just decides, you know what, I'm gonna make some popcorn right now. Let's have some fun, and then he comes back to the serious stuff halfway through the next movie.
Well, there needs to be like a from one point to the next point. There needs to be a logical like trajectory from one point to the next, right?
Yeah, that's the
problem. That's
the story points are great. The telling is bad. That's my problem. I like this. I'm sorry, it just is the pacing is jarring. It's like, especially with Attack of the Clones, he found out, I can have digital film and I can make digital effects, and he's playing with this new toy, something he couldn't do as much in episode 1 and something they could do a lot of in episode 3, or CGI was there in episode 3. It was.
He did pioneer that with ILM.
And you had to start somewhere, and I'll give him that. But episode 2,
and I see where you're making the point. It maybe did cripple certain story points. Maybe it was a bit of a crutch. We have the flashy lights, which I personally love the special effects of that era. That's just kind of a sentimental thing with me, but nostalgia. I see the point though, where special effects, flashy lights can be a crutch for pacing, storytelling, whatever. I definitely see that's a fair point. Fair point.
Yeah,
but we all love the prequels.
But here's the thing: I've seen those movies so many times. I do enjoy them, but you have to understand. Like, if we're like, I want to hold just as much as crap movies come out today. You have these movies that we loved back in the day, you got to hold them to task if you want something to be good. You have to pick them apart if you want some things to be better. And there are a lot of problems to choose from in the prequels. And people that talk about them like they're one of the greatest 3 movies ever made, I have a problem with.
Yeah, to say it's better than the original trilogy is insanity to me.
Well, no. When that kind of statement is made, that's obviously a very contentious statement, because those 3 originals from 77 to 83 were probably some of the greatest pieces of sci-fi cinema who ever exists. It's like there's no reason why we would make those comparisons. Perfect. I get that we're doing it because of the sequel trilogy that we got now, which is a genuine abomination and a disrespect to Star Wars as a franchise. But I also understand what you're saying, Mo, as well too, where it's like, we grew up with this stuff, so that's why we appreciate it a lot, but we also have to kind of put its feet to the fire because we want better for it.
Yeah, and like I said, there's lots of problems. The pacing's not good, and that is George when he is left on his own. He is bad with pacing. He's bad with the passage of time, and he's bad with the feeling of distance and breadth and the size of a universe. He has a great
vision. He just does a shit job at executing the vision.
And once again, the story of the OT is so good and it's so believable. You look past it, but it becomes a problem when the story isn't as good, and you can't look past it at certain points. Like the turn to Vader is the biggest problem. And it, like I said, it comes up with George Lucas's storytelling. The passage of time isn't there. It's very hard to believe that he goes from, oh man, and somebody said it earlier, he goes from like, he is getting more going towards the dark side. And you can believe that, but it goes from like he hits 30 miles an hour to a 250 when he turns to Vader. You're just like, oh, wow, that sped up, because we were doing this slow burn and then it just sped up because I felt like he was running out of movie. And then we get Vader at the end of 3 for like real Vader for like, he's literally crossing his arms the end of the movie. We don't get real Vader. And that was probably my most disappointing part.
And this is why I was saying that for the prequels, and like I said, I love the prequels. I love the OT, but I've always said though, but we needed more. Like we needed at least 6 movies out of the prequels.
Yes,
because just to follow Anakin's arc from here to here, because it would have been great to have seen, him doing a lot more and say like doing that final turn when he gets of age, because when he gets of age to when it's 17 years later, because you would like to get that whole aspect of him growing up from Phantom Menace, and have something
so between
in between.
episode 1 and 2, it's 10 years exactly.
Yeah, but you want to get more between, because it's 3 years between 2 and 3.
Pretty much.
Because in episode 2 he was 19, 20, and then in 3 he was 23, because he was in the light side for 23 years and the dark side for 23, and he died at 46. Return.
So I would have liked to have had at least 10 years or 15 years in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
But it's still possible to do
because when he's standing in front of the council, and you could see like Yoda and Mace are like, something's wrong with this kid. They could tell. And Anakin's
kind of being episode 1 or episode 3?
One episode 1 is what I meant. You can see you could tell that there was these notes that George Lucas wrote down. He's like, we need to hit this. We need to hit this. It's just that there's certain parts of the prequels where it's like, it's so apparent that he wants to hit it, and that there's no exposition up to and after that point. And that's my problem with the prequels, is it's just like, he's trying to hit points, but he's not filling it in like he did in the OT. That's
Mace Windu was like, I don't trust this white boy. There's something.
It would have been.
No, he did. Yeah, he's like, I don't want to trust this honky.
That's true.
Snakes up his damn plane.
It would have been good if episode 1 had fleshed out more of their caution or hesitation about him, because they made it clear like, he's too old, we can't do this, but then they just kind of went, okay, well, we're gonna take him anyway, and then that was it. But it would have, I think, been really helpful if they had fleshed out more of like what their concern was of, he's too old, and also there are these traits that we're worried about. I think that would have been helpful, but it also would have been helpful if in those scenes they included, my goodness, he's so powerful, we have to take him because if we don't take him, we're afraid of what he'll become without us. Like, I think that would have been a really cool scene, but we don't get that.
Well, he's also the chosen one, mind you. They were pretty confident.
But that's the whole point.
Qui-Gon's intuition, everything. Yeah,
that's the whole point. It's like, man, he is so powerful. Our rules say we don't take him, but what happens if?
Well, the alternative in the Star Wars universe is they put him on a work planet.
But they haven't seen any. They haven't seen any Sith in a millennium, if you don't count the Disney acolyte garbage. But
not to mention,
we haven't seen a Sith in a millennium.
I mean,
they did comment about how he had like
Darth Maul, but
midi-chlorians, Ronin.
Okay, that I want to address that real quick from the true vintage R&B fan. Which, by the way, you're also correct about R&B. It was best in the 90s, in the late 80s. But no, the pod racing scene was amazing. So one thing I got to give credit to is the special effects. For the most part, episode 2 was a bit more of a sandbox of, ooh, look at what I can do, because he also had digital film. He had digital film. He could just go nuts, but he didn't have to buy more film. He could just do what he wanted to with the storage that he had.
Episode 1
was better. Yeah, episode 1, the pod racing scene, because up till that point you're hearing yippee and Wawanta, and you're just like, oh, is this all this movie's going to be? Just crap, just crap exposition with crap characters.
The N64 game was awesome too. The pod racer game on.
Oh, dude, I still have it.
Yes,
no, I have it on my computer. It's the amazing. The feeling of speed in that game is unmatched even to this day. Yep. You feel like you're going 600 miles an hour. Especially when you hit one of those turns and your pod racer explodes.
Oh, yeah. No, not just even explodes. Like sometimes you hit a bad turn. Next thing you know, you get one engine. And yep. And then you're out. That's it. Yep.
But in the theater, you're just like, you're spellbound because it's so like, it's once again
captivating.
That's one thing that as much as I give George Lucas about crap about pacing and character development, as far as like setting up action scenes and getting action, the pod racing. The space battles, the freaking lightsaber battles of these movies.
Darth Maul, the end of that, the first episode 1, Darth Maul against Qui-Gon, and
when he ignites the other lightsaber. I remember being in the movie theater. It was just
such a badass.
Well, look, the 2-year anniversary when I went 2 years ago, because now with the upgraded surround sound and everything, it was fantastic. And then last year, watching Revenge of the Sith, that opening scene. I think everybody jumped because that pounding. It was crazy.
I saw them both for the re-release because I'd never seen them originally, and it was amazing. Dude, Duel of Fates, John Williams pounding in the theater, surround sound. It was incredible, and it isolated the notes too. It was incredible.
Oh, and that's one thing you cannot get on about it. Even in, I hate to say it, even in the sequel trilogies, John Williams' music is John Williams' music. Just put it to something way better.
John Williams never lost his touch as a musician.
No, the man knows how to make music.
He's 95 years old.
That music's put into some pretty bad shit. But the music,
he also knows how to copyright music. He learned that too.
I've been learning that
too. I just want to say too, to Mo's point, in my impression, I love the prequels, love the OT. Episode 1 is my favorite aesthetic of all 6 George Lucas movies. I think it's the perfect balance. Like you said, in 2 and 3, little carried away with CGI. The OT definitely has their varying special effects. For me personally, episode 1 does have my favorite aesthetic. It's just maybe it's because it's from 1999. I don't know, but I love
aesthetic. Is actually the Vatican. Just saying, Isaac, so you know.
Well, you don't have to ruin it. No, but I'm saying, special effects wise, even just the lightsabers too. They're perfect looking.
And this is the progression of this story. When we start in episode 1, we're starting in revolutionary America. And by the time we get to the OT, we're in the Old West. And that's kind of how we progress, is we're trying to figure all that out. And they do that. They do, like, you can't, the outfits, the set design, all of that is great. And that's where George Lucas, because that is literally like a visual, like I want it to look
He's
like
a visionary.
This. Yeah. He's a visionary. He just doesn't know how to explain words or feelings or anything else.
I think
to his actors
could have been the best.
I think he is. I think he is a stoic individual.
It wasn't performed correctly. Like, I think Attack of the Clones could have been the best Star Wars movie.
There was so much meat on the bones there. As far as the Gosh darn it! What are the planet where all the clones are? Just forgot.
Camino.
I almost said Keonosis, which I think is like
Geonosis.
I think that's like a diet. Yeah, a diet. Keto. But yeah, that was good. The whole like tension between Obi-Wan and Jango Fett, and he's like,
bro, the scene with the rain,
shout out
to where it's like.
Tamora Morrison, by the way, Jango Fett. I think he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He did.
Just a man trying to make his way through the galaxy. And I want to say, too, the seismic charges in Slave One, which that's what it's called, Slave One. The seismic charges are the greatest sound effect in cinema history, in my opinion.
Dude, in the theater, it was insane.
Yeah. In the theater?
It felt like you were getting hit by it. You felt like you were going to go deaf. Yeah.
That's
my
awesome.
biggest regret about that is between episode 2 and episode 3, my biggest regret is we didn't get more backstory on either Count Dooku and General Grievous. I would, because General Grievous just gets introduced in episode 3 like a thing and dies as the final like boss of the enemy of the Republic. And it's like, who is this guy? We know nothing about him. They tell you nothing about him in the actual film. And Count Dooku, you know he's a Jedi or a former Jedi. That's about it between episode 2 and episode 3. And there's so much more backstory to him. Man, I know Cole Hauser agrees with me on this a ton. I wish we got more Count Dooku stuff. Not just because I think Sir Christopher Lee is an amazing actor. He is.
Christopher Lee's the GOAT.
I think that character is really interesting, and I feel cheated a bit. Like we didn't get more of him.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like I think he had great characters, and he didn't quite understand how awesome they were going to play out.
Drunk 3PO for $5.
Hey.
For my man Mo, he's kind of gay.
True.
I'm also kind of right.
MoZamboni driver.
I have people that got my back too.
Just kind of though.
Can we get some avocados in the chat?
How about no?
Crazy Dutch.
Yeah, Count Dooku really needed more background, but it was only because they
such
had
a
enough.
Good character, and
but I'm
so
saying it was like Jay said, there was whipped cream on the pie. The pie was there. The pie was good. Pie was tasty. I want more. I want more. I want more on top of the. Gosh darn it!
Well, maybe he was hoping that when he sold Star Wars to Disney, that they would actually flesh some of this crap out. But of course not.
Ronin the Crusader for $5 with an avocado. Thanks, Ronan.
But I mean, like you have
just like a Mexican would do.
You have the master of Qui-Gon Jinn.
There you go, Mo. There you go.
And that's all you do with him. Like really, that's what bothers me. It's like master of Qui-Gon Jinn, and that's it. Like there's no development there.
Well,
in the books, I know it does develop it out, but as we've talked about before on this very stream, in the films itself, you miss that. Like you don't get that sense of Dooku feeling grandfatherly towards Obi-Wan because he's his apprentice's apprentice. Like you don't get that in the movie, and I wish you did. I wish you did.
And the problem is too when you get an actor like Christopher Lee to play in these movies, you know, it's like it was almost wasted opportunity because you could have brought him in a episode in Phantom Menace just for some backstory. It
should have been a main baddie for one.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
for 2. He should have been the main baddie. Period.
I'm not trying to switch lanes too much, but just when Lord of the Rings released the extended cut, the best scene in the entire Return of the King was the extended Christopher Lee scene.
Which isn't even in the books, but you're right. Yeah, that was great.
It's just so brilliant, you know.
Well, that's the thing with Christopher Lee. You could have a 4-hour movie and you'd want 5.
Yeah.
You could have a 5-hour movie, you want 10. You could have a 20-hour movie and you'd want it for the rest of your life. It's just
I could watch that scene on repeat. Man.
But you're right, Cole
He's probably my favorite actor of all time. He's phenomenal.
I would have loved to see a scene in episode 1 of Count Dooku, still a member of the council, you know, arguing against them or like arguing caution or something, and then like freaking out because Qui-Gon got killed. Like that would have been so like that would have tied it in so well into episode 2 where he's now the leader of the rebellion out of nowhere. But like, if we had gotten a scene of him saying, the council can't do we're Jedi. We shouldn't just be slaves of the Republic. Blah 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 blah. All of a sudden, Qui-Gon gets killed. I'm out. Yeah. All of a sudden,
that didn't even occur to me.
Episode 2 and episode 3 would have been amazing if you had.
It didn't even occur to me, Lex, that he got killed and then nothing came about it with Count Dooku. Like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
honestly,
and you know what I mean. And you know what would have been
why Dooku left. He was like, when Qui-Gon got killed, that was Dooku's out. He was like,
yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
I'm out. You people don't know what you're doing anymore. I'm out.
And you know what? It would have been great too if you had General Grievous on the Battle of Geonosis in the background commanding the troops. That would have been wild. Like, you just had to have his figure out there in the background when the droid armies were coming up.
Armies are coming.
Yeah, that would have been perfect to have him in there. Let me just read this.
Clown too.
Yeah. Let me just read that. Luke Light Wolf for $5. That's why I love the 2003 to 05 Star Wars Clone Wars microseries. Grievous was a beast on the battlefield, and Mace cleared his battlefield. Yeah,
that's the Tartakovsky one,
and that's when you get that's when how Grievous got his bronchitis.
You know what's a heartbreaker too is the fact that we now know retrospectively that George Lucas offered the role that Dave Filoni had to Tartakovsky first. And he turned it down for he has every right to, artists, whatever. But we could have had Tartakovsky for years doing the stuff that gay Dave Filoni has been doing, and it could have been in his hands. I respect his right to turn down the role, but man, what
prayers in the chat for that man's dog.
As a creator, he saw what was coming. He saw what was coming. And
I think you may be right about that, Mo.
Yep. Yeah. Because sometimes you get on a project and you kind of get a hint of what's going to happen next, and you're like, bro, this guy, this queer with the hat on is like got too many horrible ideas, and they keep using him. I don't think I want to be part of this. I mean,
Tartakovsky's not entirely blameless. A bit of an off-topic thing, but like, he did release that Netflix movie about all those dogs, and it was I don't know what the heck he was thinking with that movie, but it was a very Tartakovsky. It's a movie called Fixed. It's got nothing to do with Star Wars, but basically it's like a super raunchy adult oriented kind of thing. But like, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because if Tartakovsky had actually put his focus on Star Wars instead, maybe he would have been building something for Star Wars that we would have actually enjoyed, rather than Disney having what they have now and him, putting his attention towards something else entirely.
I think he would have been
also live action is not the same as animation. It's not even.
No,
especially not Tartakovsky animation. Yeah. Animation isn't like Tartakovsky's animation. It's like,
dude, he's like just the scenes with the clones going one-on-one with the minigun, gunning down.
Oh yes,
super battle droids.
What was it, Captain? What was his name? Captain Frodo.
Yes.
He obviously had a different vision for
the battle on Coruscant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had a different vision for what like the actual ground battles of the Clone Wars were supposed to be. We would have been better off with someone like that. Because, I mean, what the sequel showed us was people who didn't care about war in the first place, and B, didn't care about any of the characters because they ruined every single one of them. But like, even in that animated series, you had passion, you had characters, like the people, like the way they portrayed Windu and Grievous and all of them, it was like, man, you feel something from them. And then you get to the later series and it's like, oh,
well,
it contextualizes Anakin's turn much. It gives so much more to it, the temptation to the dark side, his trials, everything.
And again,
I just want to stress to anybody in the chat, if you have not seen the 2D Tartakovsky micro series, Clone Wars, highly recommend. I think it's on the site that we're streaming on right now. Possibly, might be. Just got to tread carefully, but it's
don't look for it.
Very easy to access and very much worth the watch. Only a few hours for the whole.
Yeah, I got the DVDs because I wanted that, so
I got to pick that up.
Yeah, because because from what they did, they basically. and pardon my language, but in the Clone Wars series, the Disney, they made Grievous a bitch because every time something happened, he would just run away and take off. And we're in the micro
series.
Yeah, in the micro series, the guy was so menacing. Like that one scene when he has the Jedi like basically trapped, and you see they're sweating. They're just like they don't want to go out there because Grievous is just lurking. You know, until the ARC troopers come.
In the prequel trilogy, he's like a cartoon, which is why I couldn't take him seriously.
Well, and if you go into like the deleted scenes of episode 3 where like he executes Jedi and whatnot. Shock T. They make him so much more intimidating. But and that's honestly, if I was gonna make it if I was gonna make, can you show me? Yes. If I was gonna make a complaint about episode 3, it would be that he comes out of nowhere, and then he's the big bad out of nowhere because Dooku gets killed at the very beginning, and then that's just really it. Though there's no characterization, and you get nothing of his character or his background, and I find that to be, I don't know, disappointing, really. Whereas when you get the background of why does he cough, why is he a cyborg, I think that's way more interesting.
Yeah, and we got to bring it back into why the prequels could have been so much better is if George Lucas had this kind of talent by his side when he was writing the movies instead of going out on his own. He basically said, okay, I want you to make some side stories, and he would approve them. He was involved, I'm sure, but he didn't have the creative, input that Tartakovsky would have had on the cartoons. If he had it like he had in the OT, and if he just brought in talented people that knew how to tell stories, not Dave Filoni, we would have had, you would have had a better movie. You needed people to say, no, George, that's stupid. Why would we have a Caribbean lizard creature talking half the movie in episode 1? It's just like, it's like, and he would have been like, well, I kind of like it. And, but that's the problem.
The Ewoks though.
No. The question was, wasn't it supposed to be Wookiees on episode 6? Yeah, it was originally
real creative. We went from Wookiees to Ewoks.
Dude, that would have been so much better. To be honest, Kashyyyk instead of Endor in Return of the Jedi would have been.
Just saying, like that whole final battle on Endor, it would have felt a lot more like Vietnam if you had Wookiees instead of Ewoks. I'm just saying. Instead, you got Care Bears trying to fight with sticks.
Yeah, and I always said if you had clones, you had Commander Cody on Endor, that battle, the Empire would have won. And it's just like we had that discussion the other day. There was an AT-AT because somebody said, the AT-AT was a cargo AT-AT. No, that AT-AT was armed to the teeth. And that AT-AT did not show up when the battle took place. It
vanished.
Disappeared.
Yep.
So, Ronin, were the Vietnamese the Wookiees or the Ewoks?
Yes. I mean, but that, ultimately they were both. I'm just saying if the Wookiees were in Return of the Jedi.
Question.
Yeah, I know.
I just have to be honest. Return of the Jedi is very conflicting for me because I support the colonization of the Empire upon the indigenous peoples. So it's kind of didn't give me the impression intended. But I agree with Gary. I think Nerdrotic says it perfectly. Return of the Jedi is 50% a 10 out of 10, 50% like a 4 or a 5. And, we have the dichotomy of the throne room scene. Father and son, like timeless storytelling, really pulls at the heartstrings. 10 out of 10 throne room. And then you do have some of the clowny, Jabba's palace. Some of the dancing scenes are kind of gay. The Ewoks are a bit fluffy at times, stuff like that. I love Yub Nub. Yub Nub is a 10 out of 10 song. It might
worse
be
than Jar Jar. Like here's the weight here. Like Ewoks versus Jar Jar. Like
that's subjective because I like Jar Jar. So
well, here's the problem. Here's the thing. If you don't like Ewoks, well, Ewoks get murked in Return of the Jedi. There's some Jar Jar. Yeah.
I will say this though, and I know how people feel about the special editions on the original trilogy, but I will still defend the dance sequence in Jabba's palace, especially the
I'm
newer
talking
version.
about
because...
the original. I'm talking about the original. I don't watch the edited OT. The special
I know. I'm just saying, like people already have their gripes with the edited versions of the OT. And
yes. Yeah.
That one tends to be one of the biggest that people usually point towards. I like it. I enjoy it myself. But anyways.
Let me just get to this one super chat. Old Man Hatfield, $5. I have no comment. Keep talking amongst yourselves. Thank you for the $5, Old Man Hatfield.
Shout out Hatfield. Watch out for the boys too, by the way. They might.
We love the prequels.
I'm trying my best, Mo. I'm trying my best.
It's all right. I'm trying to teach you. I wasn't trying to bring it up, but since you brought it up, come on, get it together, Lex. All right.
I'm trying.
Want to give a shout out to the chat. Good to see a lot of great names in the chat.
Absolutely,
yeah. You got 50 people in here. Probably hating on me, which is okay. You can hate all you want.
Chat, thanks for being here. This has been fantastic. We're definitely gonna have Mo on again. So maybe we'll have to get X-Wing on too, so Mo can spank X-Wing. So
there we go.
I don't
want to see that live.
Lex, shut up. No, I'd love to talk some prequels with X-Wing sometime. That'd be great. But I want to say too, also shout out to Mo. I've talked to Mo. We've talked about Star Wars in the past, everything. I will say, I think you always give it a fair shake. You always give your opinion on you like or don't like something, and that's fine. But at the very least, I appreciate me as a prequels defender, prequels supremacist. You always give it a very fair take and balance, which one of
my favorite movies outside of Star Wars is Goonies. I love Goonies. I cannot understand why people don't like that movie. I can't see it. I cannot. I love the Goonies. I've never seen it, and I understand that people look at the prequels the same way. I got it, and but I was an adult when the prequels hit, so it's really like I was on my way to paying bills and hating taxation, calling it theft.
Bro,
you gotta understand, I was already like kind of getting there. I was already having to pay for college and stuff like that. All right, I was already starting to hate reality, so I didn't have that wonderment and love and stuff like that as I had as a kid. All the innocence was gone by that point. So I understand, like seriously, and I'm not saying that that's stupid or anything. It's wonderful because it's a great movie. It's Return of the Jedi is ostensibly not the best, is probably the worst movie in the trilogy, and I like as far as what I enjoy out of a movie, I like Revenge of the Sith better than Return of the Jedi, and I'm gonna say it right now.
Fully
as far as one that I would turn on and have eat all the popcorn and have the best time. Revenge of the Sith with the with Ian McDermott is so good, man. He's so good as a villain.
The end of that movie is the best portion of the entire trilogy, or whatever.
And you feel sad, you feel disgusted, like you're just like, oh man, whatever you felt in Empire Strikes Back, you feel so much worse in that area. You're like, oh man, this is like, even though you know what's going to happen in episode 4, you're like, man,
can we give some credit to Ewan McGregor? Ewan McGregor for killing that scene at the end of episode 3. Like, I think he killed that
was
scene.
really good.
We wouldn't have any memes to explain why streaming has gotten out of control nowadays or anything. One of the best memes ever.
Speaking of Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith, that lightsaber hilt too, by the way, was probably the coolest lightsaber. I need to buy a theory saber of that. It's beautiful with the brass or the gold or whatever it was. And I believe it was made of that material that was impervious to being cut by lightsabers. I believe
Beskar, but
not Beskar. No, Beskar. It's actually that goes back to what Jay was saying in the Plagueis novel. Plagueis purchased a mine that is of that ore that makes the impervious to lightsaber material. That's a big thing in that novel. And it's some material, and some Sith made lightsaber hilts that were not able to be cut because that was a tactic. So,
and we're going to talk about the coolest lightsaber. It's Count Dooku, and the rest of you are
yes.
The way he wields it like a rapier is like, it's just like, he's
the curved one.
Well, and the coolest thing,
swordsmanship.
Yes, I was just going to bring that up. The coolest thing about Christopher Lee, Sir Christopher Lee, is the fact that he has prior experience wielding swords. Like all the other movies he's done before, he's like got great swordsmanship. So when he's wielding that lightsaber, oh my god, it's like the muscle memory just came right back in.
Yeah, when he goes like this and he swings it and he brings it to a stop in front of his face, He uses that hilt
cortosis. There you
like
go.
you're supposed to.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's the thing about good storytelling. That is not a normal shaped hilt. You know, with Darth Maul, you're like, ooh, it shoots out both sides. Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That's why I so
And
wish
he's
we
fighting
had
two
seen
Jedis
Dooku
at the same
before episode
time, shooting
2.
on two sides. Like, there you go.
It's true.
And to be fair,
but I'm saying Dooku sold his hilt perfectly because it was like it matched his style. That's why he had it look like that.
But
it
that's one of the things.
Christopher
Like
Lee's
Dooku's
own
background.
skill
What?
set, too.
That's true. But like, what's Dooku? The character Dooku's background. He is the inheritor of the countship of a whole planet, the ruler of a planet, Serrano, and that's why he wears that cloak. It's
Lex, it sounds like a book you need to write.
No, it's a book that's been written.
Lex.
They wrote that book already. I'm not making this up.
Yeah,
And-
You got that story.
Ryan talked about it.
And his
when he was
curved
here.
hilt is a sign of what is it? Mode 2, I think, lightsaber fighting, the duelist fighting. He like treasured the fact that he was the best duelist of the Jedi Order in Form 2. And like that was a whole thing. But the movies didn't tell you that. And I wish they did.
He looked kind of weak, like kind of lost pretty easily in the movies.
Exactly. His form of fighting. Keep your enemy at a distance, fight them towards the end of the saber, everything like that. And also Christopher Lee holds the record for the most sword fights ever in Hollywood history.
As he should.
And he, like a real swordsman, he's actually stabbed people in real life in war.
That interview is chilling. You're like,
the famous.
You want to talk about somebody you shouldn't say no. You can say no to George Lucas because he's like, I'll have some thirds of spaghetti. And Christopher Lee's like, the sound when you stab somebody in the back. It doesn't scream.
Like, no,
He's in World War II. He played Count.
You say yes to Christopher Lee and you say no to George Lucas, and we'd be a lot better off.
He played Dracula. He played Dracula.
Oh yeah, Hammer Dracula. Yeah.
And he's an actual knight as well. He's knighted.
Yeah.
So.
Been knighted, yeah.
Let me just grab this super chat really quick from Giles McCoy.
Your skills.
Sorry, Giles McCoy.
The real McCoy.
The real McCoy in the Hatfields. I have $1 more of no comment than the Hatfield fella. Here we go. Oh, just like it was like the other night when we were playing Call of Duty. It was the Hatfield versus McCoys.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Fired.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Go Big Red, sir. Giles.
No, this is fascinating. Of what we're getting into because, and I know Lex talked about it because I think for someone like Christopher Lee, Count Dooku, he wasn't given enough. General Grievous, and we all know Darth Maul wasn't given enough. We have these, if you think about it, like even if you go back to the OT, Darth Vader was just sprinkled in, like he was sprinkled in here, but you felt his presence, even though he wasn't in a lot of scenes. You felt his presence, and I think the Phantom Menace did a little bit of that with Maul. You just showed him at certain points, and I think they just could have did more for Dooku and Grievous as well.
It's almost like they relied too much upon Darth Vader to be the main villain when they had all these great villains surrounding, right?
And that's the thing, because you can take away from Anakin's story. So, you take away from Anakin's story, and it's not a Skywalker.
Here's the problem: you don't have the Grievous doesn't have the gravitas in the films, and Darth Maul is played by, like basically a stunt actor who basically can't act to save his life, which is fine because he's big scary guy with 2 lightsabers. But he just didn't. He only talked, and he's like, and it was a good line for sure.
But remember too, if they remember who was supposed to originally play General Grievous, Gary Oldman, but because he's part of the Film Actors Guild, he wasn't allowed to be on.
What difference would it have honestly made, though?
He wouldn't have been allowed. He wasn't allowed to do the scene, do General Grievous. So I think we would have got a better General Grievous in the way he, for for having Gary Oldman as his character.
Another person that played Dracula.
I'm imagining that. Like Gary
But here's
Oldman
the thing.
as General Grievous, but you know what? Given the lines that he had and the roles that he played, who cares? I mean, I don't think it would have made a difference if Gary Oldman did that character. I think General Grievous was just lacking, period.
The problem is that it was a mask. Darth Maul and Grievous were masks. They were masks. They were CGI, or they were like masks, and they just played the outfit instead of playing the character. Christopher Lee played, I guarantee you, he was like, yes, I own the planet, and this is what I own. And you know, he's going through it. He's got all the lore in his head, and he knows exactly how this character acts in real life. You know, you don't play the outfit, you play the person. He's playing
True.
Count Dooku. Darth Maul, Ray Park is playing Darth Maul. He's playing scary guy, hornhead guy with lightsabers. General Grievous is just a voice with in a CGI character. Like Christopher Lee owns the room. James Earl Jones' voice owns the room. You know,
that's the complaint though, is those
David Prowse's stature owns the room. Yeah.
Fact.
Like he didn't understand what made, and once again, I'm not trying to those are the problems with George Lucas. He's like, CGI can do this. No one can't. You can't do it. Maybe sort of nowadays. Yeah. Ian McKellen owned every room. He owned the Senate. Yeah, he literally, and you believed it. You're like, yeah, this dude owns the Senate.
With Christopher Lee as well. You see the behind the scenes. He talks about the character of Count Dooku. He goes, "Oh, he's a count. He's this, he's that." And he also says, he's like, "I want this to be a story that lasts for generations. I want my role here to have an impact for." Like, he thought about it in a generational sense, not like, "Oh, this is another job. I'm bad guy number 3." You know, he said, I want to leave my impact on this story.
And that's Christopher Lee and everything he does. Like, if you go and watch the behind the scenes on like the Hobbit film, like lore wise, he is mistaken. But if you go and watch the behind the scenes of when he, like, the scenes that he did for the Hobbit, he's like, this is still a pre-fallen Saruman. This is still, he's still trying to do good. And you can see it in his face, the way he acts in those final scenes leaves Sauron to me. It's
he loves playing the dark side, and he kind of likes the dark side of things. Like, that's why he loves heavy metal. And he actually knew
his heavy metal albums are kind of awesome, by the way.
I love them.
But here's the thing: you lose all of that when you have a bunch of pixels mushed together.
Yep.
And it doesn't have any personality.
It
you
does
put Christopher Lee behind there. He's like, I'm a robot that has 4 arms and I will kill you. He'll try his best, but it just, the physical performance, the gesticulations of his face, how he acts, how he did the subtle little things that he says, like, you know, twice the blade, double the fall. You know, like he's just a little inflections that he put.
I post that every June 1st, by the way. Twice the pride, double the fall.
Yes. But I'm just saying, like, even with Christopher Lee, if you put him in a CGI character, you've removed what makes him great. And that's the whole thing. And it wasn't so much George Lucas's fault, because every filmmaker was guilty of this at the turn of the millennium. For those from 95 to like 2010, it was like, we have computers, let's use them. It's like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should actually have more practical effects. You know, and they started backing up off that quite a bit.
Yeah, so they peaked with effects in general. They peaked with Lord of the Rings trilogy. I don't want to go back on that tangent, but they peaked with that, in my opinion, because they combined actual practical with the CGI to blend it together into something phenomenal.
CGI is a condiment. It is not the meal. You cannot eat ketchup and mustard. Yeah,
it'll
if you have too much of it, it overpowers the meal. It is designed to accentuate. It is designed to help the practical effects, because if you use it right, even in Jurassic Park, you're like, I believe it. And you don't. And if there are any gaps in believability, because the practical effects establish your world, you're going to forgive any of the CGI that you might not notice. You're like, because you use it in sparingly, use it in flashes. You don't stare at it for too long. And that was the problem with episode 2 and episode 3, and even with Jar Jar Binks. They all seemed like animated characters in the same scene as a real person.
In the original trilogy, they actually used like these tiny little
the Rancor is like this big.
That was the shift. That was the shift between episode 1 and episode 2 was Yoda going from being the puppet, the practical effect, to being CGI, and just like
little models.
All of a sudden now you look weird. And like episode 3, whatever, but it was just
I think he looks perfect, and I think he looks perfect in episode 3 personally.
Yeah, and when they redid episode 1, he looked really good, and it changed because every time you come up, you're like, man, this looks like Frank Oz ran out of money or something, you know?
I think back to episode
1 originally, that puppet was horrible. Looks like he got
run back to episode 6, and I'm just like, you know what?
Really
That's Yoda. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
but they fixed it. I'll give them that. That's one of the few changes they made, besides adding eyelids to Ewoks. Like, what are we doing, George?
I'll say one thing. I know we've gone on a lot of tangents, but massive prequels fan, I will say one thing that detracts. Why in the heck could R2-D2 fly in 2 and 3, but not in the original trilogy? That could have helped in Dagobah with his rocket boosters on his legs, probably. That would have helped.
Oh, that was okay. Thank you for bringing that up. I hate how they have C-3PO as being built by Anakin. It makes the universe seem teensy weensy, like you're in a little rural town in Iowa or something.
Everything's
like where everybody knows each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like
at the end of episode 3, they wiped his memory and everything.
But it's just like, I understand you're trying to get characters that people have seen before. You did it with Ewan McGregor. You didn't need to do it with other people.
Well, they want to make him look like an idiot, like a savant child that could.
I hated that part. I'm like, really? Well, C-3PO. And they call Anakin. Then he calls Anakin the Maker, which makes me sick because he did that in episode 4. We think means like thank God. He doesn't mean thank Anakin Skywalker, which he had his memory wiped. So why would he say thank the? It's just like
I'll just say I think there is some slightly. This is going to be a little gay, but some sweet factor with the fact that C-3PO built by Anakin was Leia's protector and interpreter for years, and then inevitably roundabout back to Tatooine, and Luke's uncle purchased him, and then Luke possessed him. So it was kind of neat. C-3PO made by Anakin went to Leia.
But here's the expense of that. The expense of that is to make the universe seem very small.
You're right about that. It does seem like a 500 population town in Ohio. Yeah, exactly. So
the only thing they're missing is a spittoon in the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, your cousin lives on the planet right next to you.
It's like that. It's like that meme where it was that meme going on, like Owen bought the same droid twice.
Yeah. You know? Okay, true.
You're not wrong about. Yeah.
It's just that's the thing. At the expense of trying to remember, you're making your universe seem small. And somehow Disney made it seem even smaller. We went to a town of 500 to that one house that you drive by every day. It's like, who the hell lives here? Well, it's Disney Star Wars. That's who lives in that house. You know, where there's like 10 inbred people all living together. Yeah.
Welcome to West Virginia.
Hey. Keep your West Virginia name out your mouth.
He's out of line, but he's right.
He's right. Stop by a Kroger or a Walmart anywhere up I-77. You'll know.
Yeah, because
I don't know if I'd survive that kind of encounter.
But it makes you think, because when you go back to the OT, and the first thing Obi-Wan says is, "I don't remember owning a droid." You know, it's some. That's why there's some things in the prequels you could have fixed easy. And they didn't.
He didn't own the droid because it was Leia's, and she was trying to get the message to him. But he knew. Yeah.
But Obi-Wan knew who R2 was. That's the thing. Like,
there still has to be some ties in the story to make it a decent story, rather than just random stuff going on. But
that's a bad one because there's so many droids that exist in this universe, and the fact that you just run around across the same two across all 6 movies with completely different people.
But you can boil that down to the Force.
It's fate.
The Force kind of centering everything back.
Once again, but it was really disappointing.
I would have to say that's a bit of an ass pull if we were to try and do that. I'd like, at the very least, like, I understand there's some issues, but even if you were to try to use the Force, that's kind of the whole like Deus Ex Machina trope that would be used in certain films. It's not really the best kind of thing to explain it.
There's better ways to do it. They should have just been
trying to apply too much to it. Yeah.
He didn't trust that people were going to buy his universe, is what it felt like, and he just had to put the member berries in, which we just see ad nauseum now. But that was like the first instance where I'm like, we're doing this.
Which I would say
this,
he did it
they
in a way
never
that
even find the damn droid, and then they just go their separate ways, and there's no movie.
The member berries in a way that did not totally detract from previous work to the degree that they're doing now. They're not totally undermined. He did where it does, overused, oversaturated, but.
Here's the other thing. But here's the problem. We also, because he does that, we established that C-3PO is a Lidl model set that a 10-year-old has been building for the last few years. It's like he's not this well-learned, extensively knowledgeable, more so than a human or any other kind of living being in the universe. He's a protocol droid. He knows so much. And yeah, you can be programmed, but the way that they portray him in the original trilogy is that he has been around. He knows lots of things, and he exudes that confidence. He's like, excuse me, I'm a protocol droid. I know a million language, but I was also built in a slave's bedroom. Really?
Well, and then he could fly before, and now he can't fly. Like, what happened?
In the original trilogy, C-3PO was essentially like a stuffy Oxford professor.
Yeah,
he was very proper, and what is this dirtiness? I need to clean my gears and stuff like that.
Yeah, and R2D2 was more of the working man. Yeah,
exactly.
Which is based off of Akira Kurosawa's work.
You know what?
Yeah,
I still laugh when he was in the battle in Geonosis. Die Jedi dogs.
Yes.
Did I just say that? That was okay. That was good.
Did I just say that?
Terribly sorry.
Yeah. Once they established who he was, and we went on episode 2 and 3, it's like, okay, because you can forget about that because it was not good. But yeah, exactly. C-3PO is a glorified speak and spell, is what he is in episode 1. It's just like not trusting the audience that they're going to follow your vision, and it's really sad because we were for episode 4, 5, and 6, and in 1 he just doesn't have that confidence, and it was.
What do you like about the prequels, Mike?
I have an honest question, actually, that I would like to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing all these things, seeing all these flaws, why do all of us look back so fondly on these films that we can find and nitpick all these details on while still appreciating the goodness about them?
Because
why do we look back
popcorn
so back? How can we nitpick them so much and hate every film that comes
because
out
we
now?
love them and we want the best for them. You don't raise a child and be like, good enough, and they're just knocking off liquor stores, you want them to be the best version of themselves. That's why we hold it to it. And you know what? They're still great. They're still wonderful. And after all what I just said, I picked them apart because I love them so much. I've watched I still have the VHS tape behind me. I'll actually go get it here in a second, that I've had for 26 years at this point. Yeah, mine is in a little worse repair. But it is they're by the John Williams music is amazing. The lightsaber fights are unbelievable. Like, you hold your breath. You literally did every time you saw one in theater.
Yeah, Nick
whether
Gillard,
it was Anakin and Qui-Gon, not Anakin, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul. And then freaking Yoda. I remember when he even just pulled out his lightsaber in the theater in 2002. People were jumping out of their seats, freaking out. That was cool. And the action scenes were great.
My
and there's a lot.
Noise.
There's a way more good than there is bad. I'm just saying, like, as compared to the OT, like, they're not the people that put prequel movies above some of the OT. Like, some people put them above Empire Strikes Back. I'm like, this is where you're wrong, and that's why I'm explaining, because to me it took me out of the movie. I thought the C-3PO and R2D2 arc of the prequel was cheap. It was a cheap hit. I didn't like it. It made the universe seem very tiny for the expense of, hey, I remember those guys.
And by the way, if you guys think the hype for the prequels was big, you don't have a clue how big the hype was in 1979. Like, when the real
didn't exist at the time.
It was
absolutely
insane.
I want to say, to Lex's point too, it's for the same reason that we don't have a podcast about Disney Star Wars, because what's the point in criticizing something you don't give a damn about?
Yeah.
It's because we do like it. It's just like we always say too, are you really friends with someone if you can't argue with them and disagree? Are you really? I mean, you don't want somebody to always agree with you, because then you can't trust that.
Am I really
people
friends
you value
if I
most,
can't
you
call them
fight
a
with
bundle
and
of
disagree with
words?
most.
Yeah.
And that's George Lucas Star Wars. We pick it apart and we give our criticisms because we love it so much.
The highs were really high and the lows were pretty low.
I don't waste my time criticizing Disney because it sucks. What's the point?
Yeah, but I still enjoy. Well, not episode 2. I cannot stand episode 2. It's so bad. The CGI
Yeah, it
is
was
bad.
like
The
the
acting is
Star Wars
bad.
movie.
Only like it's only worth a few clips. It's basically anything that Count Dooku's in, and then Yoda versus Count Dooku. Everything else is garbage. So,
Honestly, even
one
the
and 3 are
extras were
great
bad
though.
actors.
I do enjoy them a lot.
You didn't like the battle on Geonosis with the clones?
It was good, but it was just like it was almost like just over the top crazy, and it was good too. Yeah, I remember that. I'm just saying, if you're talking about like what I really loved about those movies, it was good, but it was also like very drawn out. It seemed like it lasts forever. And after a while, you kind of lose interest until Jango Fett comes in and he suddenly becomes about a foot smaller.
Mo, you don't like the scene where Padme and Anakin are rolling around in the grass together? You don't like that scene?
Well,
the romance was done excellently, in my opinion. I think it was good. I think it was good.
The acting was so good.
Acting I've ever seen.
Well, there is a good line
that was isolated and dating a queen, essentially.
That she
go ahead, Mo.
In the last movie.
Mo, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Mo?
There's one line.
There's one line where he goes, "Stay here. Your presence is soothing." Like it's just like you have a good woman in your life. When you have a good woman in your life, it's like you understand that point. It's like just if you're just around, it makes things seem a lot better. So I understood that. I felt that one. I felt like that was a good line.
So I watched it today.
Didn't deliver it very well though.
The rest was crap, but that was good.
I watched Attack of the Clones today. I love that movie. And listen, if you lived on a desert planet, you'd hate sand too.
Facts.
I'm just saying.
Go to the beach. Sand
I'm just saying.
everywhere.
And sand. Listen,
if I was a teenager and I was encountered with Natalie Portman at that age, I don't care what planet I come from. I'm probably going to be on board. So.
Think about this:
riding a horse, like with underwear.
When me and Eldridge when we were in Orlando, when we went to the beach. You know how hard it was to get the sand off.
It's like asking Cole Hauser how much he likes snow.
Yeah,
I thought you lived in Canada, bro. Are you from the Bahamas or something?
We got snow today, so
exactly.
Which I'm just going to say too. This is going to piss Mo off, but my favorite of the 6 Star Wars movies, which is only 6, I think we can all agree on.
I like them wrong
from favorite to least favorite in reverse order of release. My favorite's 3, second favorite's 2, third is 1, and so on and so forth. I think episode 2 is phenomenal. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, is my most rewatched movie. I love that movie.
I can't watch it.
We love you, Isaac, but you're just wrong. You're just wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I will say too, Zam Wessel, the changeling, kind of.
She's
not the best part of the movie. I will say that. Yeah.
When she expires, that's a good part. It's
that's a good part. Yes.
That was gross, and
there's a 42% chance that most changelings tend to expire. But the fact of the matter is, the death stick scene, a lot of stuff like that. Dialogue could
almost made it 2 hours.
I have to disagree with Jerry here. Rogue One sucks. The only good part of Rogue One is the last 5 minutes. That's it.
You want to say Rogue One? Rogue One is actually in the games, like we were talking about. Jedi Knight, a lot of stuff like that. Kyle Katarn.
Yeah. Jen Erso is Kyle Katarn. And once it was explained to me by Ryan, I'm like, oh, you're right.
It's the best Disney Star Wars movie.
I'll give you that.
The only one I acknowledge. Yeah. I love Rogue One. I think it's a great film. It is the last Star Wars film ever made.
Well, no, Admiral Krennic is good. The guy, because the actor is amazing and everything.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like the actor, the way he talks and the way his thirst for glory, he would have.
Are we blind?
Yeah,
but I deploy the garrison.
I understand the hatred that might be pointed at like Jyn Erso or whatnot, or hell, even Cassian Andor. I mean, Diego Luna's Cassian Andor does a fairly good job. I didn't really care much about the show. I didn't bother watching it, and hell, I even remember too when we had Ryan on as a panelist, as a guest, I talked about the whole isn't it kind of weird or off-putting that they literally dropped the word, the struggle snuggle word, let's put it that way, because we're not 2 hours in. Like, drop that word in Star Wars, and it's like, yes, a lot of that stuff's implied, like with Princess Leia wearing the slave outfit, but whatever. But that's besides the point. Me myself, I liked Rogue One as well too. I would quantify it as like a good bridge between the OT and the prequels myself. I would, because I got some entertainment value out of it. I understand people don't like it, and there's a far better way you could have told the story of stealing the plans of the Death Star. But
I just refuse to acknowledge anything Disney.
I hate it so much.
My problem is with Rogue One. I'm sorry, but you got a garrison and you only got like 100 stormtroopers there. I'm sorry, but that thing there should be at least 10, 20,000 troops on that planet. And they use those stupid experimental AT-ATs that just get taken out right away.
The only argument,
they had a planet shield,
right,
that they thought no one could defend, like no one could penetrate. They had no thought that anyone would ever attack there. I'm willing to give that the benefit of the doubt.
The other argument I would give too is the fact that they have Death Troopers there, which are supposed to be the most elite of the Empire.
The Death Troopers are Krennic guards, so that doesn't count. Gotta say.
And you only got 4 of them?
You want a good between 3 and 4 story, play the Force Unleashed games. They were never canon in the first place. Ever.
Unleashed doesn't count because that dude was so overpowered.
No, Lex, it was never canon. Even when it was made, it was never canon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying
so overpowered.
No, they explicitly said this is extracurricular material. But the point of the matter is, I hate Rogue One. There was better games that explain the Death Star plans. And Inquisitors are horrible Disney inventions as well.
Yes,
Darth Vader was a Jedi.
Yeah, that I can actually get behind.
He did not need these stupid Inquisitors.
Two things can be right at the same time. So Rogue One was decent, but Disney never happened. Disney never happened.
They already had Rogue One before. Like
I've never held
total whatever.
I'll stand by it. I liked Rogue One. I think Rogue One is a good movie, and I hate,
but it never happened.
Everything else that Disney ever did because they're trash. And I want to say slurs.
Those are better than Rogue One.
You won't like it, Lex, but this Catboy here.
We needed Cal Katarn.
Well,
we needed Cal Katarn. We needed all Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight. Oh God, Jedi Academy.
Would have been so good.
Yes.
We already,
but you not like word for word, beat for beat, because they're games and they would be really long movies, which is why they're great games.
I would have taken Shadows of the Empire as well too. That would have been fantastic.
Dude, I had a soundtrack, dude. Shadows of the Empire.
And I wish they didn't cuck Thrawn. I wish, because Thrawn is such a good character, and they just made him such terrible.
This is kind of the problem with how we see a lot of these, like, adaptations or continuations of these universes. Small off topic kind of thing, but like the new Resident Evil that's coming out, like the guy that's making it doesn't bother with, he says he plays the games, but he's trying to make his own story and just slaps the title on it. And it's the same thing you see here with Star Wars. Is you have a plethora of like lore that you can work with. You have so many different stories from the extended universe. You have so many like different like games that you could adapt as well too, but you don't bother doing any of that.
But does Disney own it? Is anybody else allowed to write anything if Disney owns it? That's my question. No,
I don't think so. I mean, at this point, I'm just giving up hope that they're going to do anything.
Right.
So like I wanted to buy like all of the original movies on, basically on my my TV or whatever, and I was like, I don't want to give Disney any damn money. So I called my mother up and said, bring me the stack. So here we go. Got the old.
That's awesome.
There it is.
The DVD
the
stack.
old
DVD stack, and every single one of these has the basically the extended, or what? Not extended, but
special edition
features and all that. So
there you go.
Yep.
This is like probably 25 years old, something like that. So
yeah, no, you're not. No, 22. The DVDs came out in 04.
22.
I just want to say, I think we can all agree. Cole Hauser, I am sharing my screen. It's safe, my guarantee. Jay posted this. I think we can all agree that regardless of any George Lucas flaws, this is not Star Wars. So Jay posted. He knows what he's getting Ryan for his birthday. The Disney Star Wars Pride Month variant covers have been revealed, and not to sour the conversation with that. I just had to share that because I think we can all agree with any and all of George Lucas's flaws. He never did anything quite to that degree. whatsoever.
Well, it's funny because even last year I asked because when they were doing the anniversary for Revenge of the Sith, I remember I asked Ryan. I said, "Ryan, are you going to go?" And Ryan was like, "I would like to," because Ryan loves the prequels, but he said he did not want to give Disney money.
Not a dime.
Not a dime. Me, I didn't want to either. But going back into the theater, I went 3 times to watch Revenge of the Sith, for that experience again. I had to, because now we're dealing with new surround sound, new speakers, and just the music, everything, the special effects going through those speakers. I had to go watch it. So, did I want to give Disney all my money? No, but for something like this, I had to.
Well, dude, in my case, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie of all time. I had to see it.
Yeah, and really, you're not just so you're also showing love to the original films that you love, not necessarily handing Disney money hand over fist for stupid bullshit they're pumping out. So it's not the same as that, right? So it's like you're showing love to the original stuff that you like. So I don't have a problem with it. It's just man, it sucks giving Disney money. Man.
I mean, like,
I have family that literally works at Disney and runs literally Disney World. That's their side. They're not on the like film side. They're on the park side.
There you go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I won't go. I fucking hate that place. I hate that company. I think it's the worst thing ever.
So
that ruin
it. To that end, I take it to the logical
goes every year, and he stopped inviting me to go with him several years ago because he knew I was like, I was always gonna say no.
Yep. Well, you know what I did?
Is bad.
Yep. I have the Harmy Despecialized editions. I don't even want prequels to be touching my OTs. I want Anakin Skywalker to look like he just walked out of the old folks' home. I want
Sebastian Shaw. Yeah.
I don't want Jedi rocks. I want the fat girl that's wearing like 3 bras. You know,
that was a man, Mo.
Whatever. Well, once you get that big, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Can we shout out the Twi'leks, by the way, Ula? Shout out,
But she reshot her scenes
18 years later.
Yeah, and she's still
she's the only person from the original that reshot a scene. She's
the
only
Twi'lek don't crack. Yeah,
Twi'lek don't crack. Once you go Twi'lek, you don't go back. So it's fantastic. I will say that was fantastic. So
yeah, but I highly suggest if you grew up and you remember the original trilogy and you want the original trilogy, this amateur film editor and maker, Harmy, because they have other ones like 4K 77, 4K 80, 4K 83. Harmy does better color grading and stuff like that. Watching the original, because he's taken it from all the sources, film, lasered it, like he's cleaned it up. Watching the original 3 films in the original way that they were shot and cut in HD is like freaking, it's so nice to go back to that, because it reminds you of a time where it was just like you were growing up in the 80s or the early 90s and there wasn't anything else out yet. And those were the 3 movies, the original trilogy. It was amazing. They didn't even put episode 4 in the opening crawl. That's how they're like in.
It's just called Star Wars.
Still, the older people up here. So me, Mo, and Cole, we know about the analog stuff, right? So
Oh yeah, I saw some beta tapes with they taped off HBO free weekend. I'm sure because my parents were broke.
You guys miss like a good old vinyl record sound, like oh man, and I got mine right here. Big old speaker stacks and
Are those are those like those are special edition, right? Because I don't think they're. Because I think the OG ones are CBS Fox, which you want to talk about feeling old.
I have are the black background with the red Star Wars and then the blue trilogy, like the old from 1984.
Well, obviously, those would be the OG ones. But
so it could be because it says exclusive behind the scenes look at episode 2 featuring George Lucas.
Oh, it's definitely the special edition. Yeah, those came out in '97, which it was cool to see.
But it's still sealed though.
Yeah.
Bro, so I bought VHS tapes, like the blank ones, and then I recorded every single James Bond film that was on television that came out
So you were on TNT the entire
So I
week.
had, yeah, I had, yeah, TNT weekend. I had all 26 James Bond films, and I had to fast forward through all the commercials. Every time
Dude,
watching
the struggle was real.
Yes, sir, man.
Let me just catch this super chat. Luke Light Wolf again for 5. When you look at Rogue One and the Guns of Navarone of Star Wars, the premise of the movie works, and it's the best Disney Star Wars movie.
Yep, and Disney never happened.
If I had to rewatch anything Disney, I mean, I would rewatch
That's the only one I would watch.
Yeah,
I'm still never watching it ever because I hate it. But if I had to, I'll say too, visually speaking and just narratively, it's probably the most mature, and it also detracts the least, I think. From
it doesn't mess with anything. It actually, yeah, it's
my problem with
Rogue
One is because wasn't originally Garth Edwards was directing, and then he got pushed out, and then they brought in Ron Howard, and then they changed a whole bunch of stuff. Because remember, there was a lot of people. Because I remember when this movie was still being worked on, they were talking about they didn't like the fact that it was basically a war movie. I remember that for this. And it's just like, well, everyone's saying it's Star Wars, you know. Look at the title,
Star Wars.
Well, yeah, they were changing the plot points up until the very end. The trailers had different ways of them.
Yes.
If you see them, they're carrying the Death Star plans. They're running away in one of the trailers. So they were changing it just like they do with everything Disney. They just couldn't figure out
People
how to
might
do
not
it.
like to hear it too. Jyn Erso's a girl boss character. Straight up.
She does act like it. That's why we'll say that's one of the criticisms I actually do understand. I'm not really a big fan of Jyn Erso.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first movie where you heard about gay relationships with Donnie Yen.
I love the ending
the other
of it.
guy.
The phenomenal ending in the movie.
A lot of people liked Andor. That's just what I heard.
Well,
it's just
Well, it had good writing.
With Donnie Yen's character, they didn't make him a Jedi because he was going to take away from Jyn Erso.
So stupid.
Donnie Yen would take away from anybody, though. He's Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He should have been a survivor of Order 66. His staff should have been a concealed lightsaber, like, twisted apart. It's a hilt or something, a concealed weapon from the Empire.
Zatoichi. Yes.
Exactly. Didn't he even have like a kyber crystal necklace or was that Jyn? One of them did. Whatever. I hate it. Whatever. Not to detract from people that like it. I understand. It's the best thing Disney made. It's not for me.
Stop highlighting me. I don't matter.
I just want to say thanks for everyone who's in the chat, who's still here. This has been a great conversation. I think this is like one of the best ones we've had. We're really getting down to the thick of things.
Getting better and better.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you, chat, for being here. Thank you for tuning in. We love you being here.
Couldn't do it without you.
It's been a pleasure. It's nice to have a full-hearted, full-chested debate without making fun of. Well, people make fun of me in chat, but I kind of deserve it. That's okay. That's just my personality and my existence. It wasn't so much my Star Wars takes, but it's good to have full-throated discussions about things that we love. Because you don't have to agree on everything. If you agree on everything, you might want to look into it.
These are the nerd discussions that we all so desperately miss. Honestly, is that we're able to talk about something we really love, even if we're being nitpicky about it, rather than just basically tearing at each other's throats over things that we genuinely do hate.
Bro, this is the stuff that I used to do at Blockbuster when I was like 15 years old. Go to Blockbuster and just talk smack to people about movies. Like, oh, your movies suck, or my movies.
Oh, you're working at Blockbuster. I can just see Magnum doing power shots. He's like, "Why are you renting this movie? This thing's Speed 2. This sucks."
Actually, no. You know what? Magnum seems like the type of guy who's like, "No, you put this back over the shelf. I'm going to give you this movie. Watch this one." Yeah.
But
fast forward to
said earlier, hey, how many shows tonight on YouTube are just talking about things they love? How many shows tonight are doing that? This is it.
Rather than
the rest of them, they're complaining, they're bitching, they're doing nonsense. Here, we're talking about something that we love. And that is what is so special here.
Competitively, by the way. We're competitively all agreeing that we love these
debate about it, even if we debate about it, We're talking about things we love.
And you know
And
what? I'm going to go watch the prequels sometime soon. Yeah.
The rest of YouTube tonight,
because now it's
right now, is complaining.
They're complaining. Tonight, to be honest,
they're gossiping. They're doing nonsense. What are we doing here? We're talking about something we like.
Because here's what I'm going to do. What X-Wing and Jay and everybody else said in the chat said, I'm going to keep that all in my giant forehead and my brain. What's left of it at my old age, and I'm going to rewatch the prequels, and I'm gonna view it again. It's been a little while since I've seen some of these. Not that long, but because what you should do is you shouldn't just change because people tell you to change. You just be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I misunderstood that, and you're like, yeah, no, that person, Lex was full of crap, which is generally a good way to approach life, but So.
I fully agree. Yes.
Or Isaac is gay and loves well done steak, and you're like, that's probably a good way to go back.
Also true. He's medium. He's medium now. He's medium now.
Yes, he has now converted to the Church of Medium, which is good.
All right, I don't want to pull it too far off track, but yeah, I will. And I do enjoy the prequels. They gave me lots of enjoyment, man. And I ate there's a lot of popcorn consumed and a lot of good times had watching those movies. They're still incredibly enjoyable. Lots of great action pieces. There is some good story beats and stuff like that. I do have my problems, but I still very much enjoy them. Don't get it crossed, Chad.
The aesthetics and the music just combined, that's enough for me. Like, I love it.
But Mo, think about this. Look at that. So last week on the Midday Mixer, Jay played the Phantom Menace trailer. What happened when I got right after we're done the show?
Yeah,
I threw in the Phantom Menace. Thursday, Jay played Revenge of the Sith. I got the chills down my back when he played that trailer.
Actually,
and I was just like,
when Anakin has the Sith eyes, I remember seeing that like in the theater. You're just like, oh, finally, yeah.
It's just
Anakin Skywalker's the GOAT as far as I'm concerned. I know,
and I'm waiting, and I'm sorry, but I think next year will be Attack of the Clones in the theater for the anniversary.
They haven't announced it, to my knowledge.
That's 25th.
Don't shake your head, Mo. Don't shake.
25th anniversary. No, I'm just saying the age of it is making me. I'm rolling my eyes.
You want to feel old? So it was released on my second birthday. Attack of the Clones.
So when you're tasting food,
thank you, small child.
When I was in high school and doing
pretty much
shit.
Yeah.
Cold slap.
I love Nuggies in episode 2. Done.
But you know what I'm getting this year on my birthday is the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight. So
there we go.
We're rooting for Gina, so I'll be watching that day of. So yeah.
Let me just pop this in here just so people can see that. Because even next week I'm planning on watching Top Gun. Because it's going to be in IMAX, so I'm looking forward to that.
Am I supposed to watch that?
If you want to. but think about this. Look how much money Revenge of the Sith made when it came back into theaters last year, and next thing you know, they pulled it. They pulled Revenge of the Sith. It made what, over 40 million?
It almost hit number one. Like it was close.
Man,
it was close to hit number one in the theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to give
like a
run
with no theaters,
like a week.
Compared to
I was planning to go and see it again, and I was pissed. I wanted to see it several times. I only got to see it once, which
I saw it 3 times.
Like you said too, I feel bad giving Disney money, but at the same time, it's my favorite movie of all time. I never got to see it in theaters ever, so you only live once. I wanted to have the experience under my belt, and I got
money talks and BS walks. If you pay them for stuff that's good that you like, they'll get the message because their bottom line will start getting a little less red and a little more black. So it's kind of, you got to balance it. You got to figure it out how you want to.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain. Like, so you're watching the movie that you like in the platform that you want.
Yeah, my favorite movie of all time.
You're telling them what you want and what you don't want by paying for what you want.
You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company. Sometimes they really don't get those kinds of lessons. They end up learning the wrong kind of lessons, even when we're trying to explicitly tell them what it is that we want. But I do understand the sentiment. I wish I'd actually seen Revenge of the Sith when it was out in theaters. If anything, if the 25th anniversary for Attack of the Clones is coming out next year, I'm definitely going to be there first day. I will be there because it's a childhood memory. I want to be able to relive it. It's a fun thing, even though it's being owned by a BS company nowadays.
At least they didn't change it. Like, there's no editing. It was the original movie.
Right.
They did not change it whatsoever.
Well,
So they're going to remake it.
Quite a few years ago when they brought the so they brought Attack of the Clones in IMAX, and because the movie wasn't fully digital, it was only like an hour and a half. Because I remember when we went, me and my brother and a bunch of his friends, we went to go watch it, and when the movie finished, we're just like, "This movie seems short to you?" And we're just like, "Yeah, it was," because Attack of the Clones is like 2 hours and 15 minutes. And this was only like an hour and a half because they had it was just the digital of what they had at the time. So, but yeah, same thing with Top Gun. I never saw the 1986 Top Gun in theater. I only saw it on VHS. Now that it's coming in theater next week, I plan to go watch it because I never seen that movie in theater. Just like Interstellar. I love Interstellar. I never saw it in theater. When it came out for its 2 years ago, I went and watched it in IMAX because there were just movies back in the day you just never experienced in theater. And Star Wars is the movie you have to go watch.
Yeah. And next year's the 50th anniversary of the very first. So.
Are you guys looking forward to Disney's remake of the entire septilogy with Michael B. Jordan starring as Luke Skywalker?
Do not put that evil on us, Magnum. Do not put that evil on us.
Well, we didn't get into it, but we've had an over 2 hour Star Wars stream. Excellent. We haven't brought up the fact that in 2 weeks, there's a Disney Star Wars movie coming out to theaters. I could not care less whatsoever. I don't think any of us care or have any excitement for it whatsoever.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wait, there's another movie starring. There's another movie starring Mando and the Green Fucker.
Not exactly. Not to put that evil on the stream. I'm sorry to even bring it up, but it just goes to show I have more excitement at the prospect of possibly seeing a 25-year-old movie re-released in theaters than I do of this garbage coming out in a few weeks. So
yeah,
which by
I genuinely, I'm not kidding. I genuinely didn't know there's a movie that's in the Star Wars universe.
We'll talk about it after, Lex. We don't want to talk about the evil.
Yeah.
But, isn't that telling? Isn't that telling?
Yep. So I just shared the newest thumbnail for that I made for a drunk 3PO video that we just dropped earlier. By yours truly. That's about where I feel like it is at the moment.
That's great. That's great.
Go to see a movie.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, that's sad where we're at. Yeah.
That is awesome.
But it was good to talk about the old movies, the 6 movies. They're very good.
Absolutely.
So
no, they're always going to be good, man.
Yeah, they are enjoyable. As much as I nitpick them, I still love them. So,
Mo, is that homework for us for the midday mixer?
Jeez. I know we're going to see it. There's the Savannah, Georgia meetup at 9 Line Apparel, and we're going to probably watch it while we're there if anybody's showing up. So I don't know if it's gonna be there for midday mixer. I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good.
I don't want to.
A good selling point.
After this discussion, I don't want to. I'm tired, boss.
All tired.
Yeah, we all tired. But I just want to get. There was a question that Nishi came up earlier. How do you guys feel about the Family Guy movie based on Star Wars?
Yes.
Never
Blue
saw
Harvest, something dark side.
When he accidentally cooks, like they get rid of John Williams and they have to bring in Danny Elfman, and they make fun of, dude, it's so like, because I love music soundtracks. I'm like, bro, that was hilarious. And they're doing the music, like Danny Elfman music. Like, oh, this is much worse. Yeah, I thought it was good. They went a little too deep on it, but I thought it was funny.
Since South Park absolutely destroyed them. So
some of the gags are pretty good in it as well too, like the couch that they're literally pulling out from the trash compactor and everything. That whole bit's kind of hilarious, I would say.
Yeah, it's all right. The Family Guy gets a bit old after a while.
Yeah,
obviously it does. Yeah.
I was actually split. I'm split because because the Robot Chicken actually does a really good job on the Star Wars. You know,
the falling where they fall and the guy keeps cleaning up the corpses.
Yep.
He's like, come on. Yeah,
and because I also like that there was the last one where Palpatine, he's a young man, he's going in for a new job, and he's like, I can't wait, and then the news comes on, oh, Palpatine's taken over. Just some good bits on Robot Chicken.
I think for me the funniest gag when it came to Robot Chicken, it wasn't even in any of the Star Wars specials. It was one gag that was on a regular episode, but it's the one where Palpatine is talking to his two other advisors, and then that's when he gets the call from Vader, and he's going back and forth with him on it, and it's pretty. That one was kind of funny, I would say. That one's always a classic.
Yeah, Walrus Man has a bad day. That was a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some good things, but I think we're at that mark. Mo, gotta say, thanks for coming on. This has been fantastic. I always wanted to get you on the channel, and finally happened. So, and what better to talk Star Wars? Well, no, that's not true. I've had you on the channel before talking G.I. Joe and stuff, but it was great to have you on talking Star Wars.
Yes, and it's much better not to be sick as all get out, like I was.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So no, this is great, man. I felt like I was eating well. I don't get to do debates too much, because you talk but not like on a forum like this. So this was a blast, man. And I got to stream with Isaac and I guess Ronin and Magnum and Lex. But no, it's been fun, man. What?
I'm not.
Why don't you drop my link in there correctly, and I might be nice to you?
I'm trying. I'm not from you.
I'm looking at it, and it looks like he's talking in code or something. Like I feel like I need the red thing to kind of like for my Transformers. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yep. I have to decode Lex Ludendai's freaking links in the chat. So.
Don't pay attention to my super chats, Mo. I have a slave monkey in the basement typing it all up. So.
It's been a blast. My face is hurting. I've been laughing so much. It's been a blast, guys.
This was an awesome.
Yeah, well, Mo, definitely we got to get you back on again. Hold on. Got from 73 X Milt for $20. Thanks, boys. You guys and hockey tonight. Awesome.
Yes,
there you go. And by the way, I learned his name. It's even cooler than you think. He's in my chat a lot. It's 73 Transmit.
Okay.
Looks cool,
like that.
And it sounds cool.
Yeah,
and he is cool. He's got a pretty cool story. So
nice.
Anyways, yeah, man, that's awesome. He's good people.
Awesome.
So, chat. I just want to say again, thank you for being here. This has been great. We love these streams. We're going to get Mo back, and yeah, it's gonna be some fun time. So, yeah. So everyone, have a good night. Just say shout out, and we'll see you soon. I might be doing a gaming stream later. We'll see, but have a good night, people.
Hail.
Take care.
Anniversary to G.I. Joe. 199, yo Joe. 40th anniversary. Huh?
No, a real American hero. That's what he means.
Oh.
Yeah, a real American hero.
I thought that was just like coming from the perspective of a Chinese Muslim. Like, praise Allah. That's what I thought that was.
I'm sorry, she made it wrong, but then when you brought the Chinese Muslim into it.
There you go. Praise Allah. Come get my she chicken.
Oh, shit.